Welcome to day 2 of the Belief Matrix. Who is ready for a powerful day? Turn your cameras on so we can see your radiant and luminous smiling faces from around the world. Pamela is in the house. Hello, Pamela. Hello, Carmen. Hello, Melissa, Maria, Helen. Always a joy to be in your luminous presence. Bernadine, Karen, Linda, everyone. Welcome. Bailey, welcome. Ben, Scott, Elena. Studies show that when you have your camera on and you play full out, you get more from the experience. So how wonderful it is to be here together today. Today is day 2, and yesterday was day 1. And we came to realize that neuroscience reveals that we have a predictive brain and that this isn't just a thought. This is an embodied prediction that we're bringing into every moment, every conversation, every experience of our lives. And we also came to realize that disempowering predictions can be interrupted, right? How awesome it is to know that we can interrupt through our awareness. That's the first step to transformation. Through our awareness, we can interrupt these old neural pathways, okay? Step outside of those old ways of thinking and being. Get curious. Can everyone get curious with me? Lean in. And in that state of expanded awareness, gather new insights. Gather new learnings, gather new distinctions that allow old patterns to dissolve in light of a new understanding. And how awesome it is to know that, yes? So today we've got a powerful day. We're going to be going even deeper into what is causing these patterns to repeat, what is causing these patterns to loop at the deepest level. Not just where you're consciously aware of it, but the deepest levels of your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, and in your nervous system, in your body. Okay. So you ready for a powerful day? Share with me where your energy is. Where's your frequency? Where's your state coming into this training on a beautiful Sunday from around the world? Share with me in the chats if you were going to share in 1 or 2 words. Where's your energy and state? I'd love to tune in with you. Atma's in the house. Onida, good to be with you. Bella, Layton, Barb, everyone. Tule. Let's see. Peaceful and open. I love that. Who would love to be more peaceful and open in their day-to-day life? Relaxed in the nervous system. What a gift. Showing up in full force. Awesome. Winnipeg is in the house. Excited. Beautiful. A lot of excitement. Good energy. Ready. Ready is very powerful. Would you love to live life ready? How amazing would it be to be ready for anything at any time? It's like you show up, you're at that resort, and all of a sudden you're in the elevator, and the elevator door opens, and there's Oprah, and you're like, Oprah, of course it's you. It's like you're ready for the conversation. So before we dive in, I'm curious, because we had a powerful session yesterday. How was yesterday? How many of you were having some breakthroughs yesterday? Anybody feeling some popcorn going on? Mina's in the house. How wonderful to be with you, Mina. Okay. Breakthroughs in the house. How many of you experienced some breakthroughs? You could put some B's in the chats acknowledging those breakthroughs from yesterday. And before we dive in, we have time to share 1 or 2 breakthroughs if you'd like. If someone has a breakthrough and they would love to be witnessed in their breakthrough, which allows it to integrate at an even deeper level, the way we share breakthroughs in our community is we say, in the past, this is what was going on. In the past. Why? Because we're in a brand new moment. Then I had this awareness. And moving forward, here's what's different. So we have chance for 1 or 2 breakthroughs, and then we'll see how much time we have during today's session. Give Sefika some love. Welcome. Breakthrough. I'm going to hit the gong for her. That's the breakthrough gong.
Hey,
Hi.
Niurka. In the past, what I realized was that I would, number one, hide away from here. Yesterday, I wanted to share and I couldn't do it. When I was doing your technique yesterday, I found that my mind was like, I'm an action taker. I take action, but how can I put this? So I'm a massive action taker. So it's not a blocking action. But I found that no matter what action I took, how do I put this? No matter what action I took, nothing was happening. And yesterday the breakthrough was like, I don't need to take as much action, if that makes sense. I can kind of, it was just a massive relief. I don't know how to put it, but it was just like, aha, like massive for me.
Okay. So what's different moving forward in light of this?
More awareness, trust more. That was the biggest word. I think it was trust more, allow the universe to do the work, but also take action, but don't be harsh on myself. I feel like I was very harsh on myself before, so that is massive for me.
So now being harsh on yourself is going to liberate a lot of energy. Who's been hard on themselves before? Think about how much energy goes in to being hard on yourself. And once that's liberated, what are you going to do with all that extra energy? Now, here's the thing that's interesting. It's still about taking action, but it's about taking focused action, purposeful action, intelligent action, strategic action, which means being in that awareness of the feedback. When you take the action, what feedback are you receiving? So that then you can adjust in real time. But again, the energy, the liberation, like who can relate to having certain things that have been showing up that are blocking you, that are not even real? In other words, you're fighting something that's invisible, but it's become a real experience, but it's not actually real in the ultimate reality. Okay. And what would you do with all that energy? What would you do with all that time when those thoughts are released? It's awesome to know that. Give Sefika some love. Awesome. Okay, we got time for one more breakthrough, and then we're diving into the training. Who's got a breakthrough they want to share? And if not, we'll have time to share later. Scott's in the house. Give Scott Christopher some love. So good to be with you, Scott.
Thank you.
Hit the gong. We're celebrating. Okay, awesome. So in the past, this is what was happening. Then I had this awareness, and moving forward, what's different? So good to see you.
I had to leave right after your training yesterday and go to be on stage in front of 400 plus people. And I was DJing, emceeing, and providing a lot of fun with 400 headphones, fully immersive. And I found that during my 3-hour drive down to Orange County, I was in the car with a friend, and I'm trying to communicate what I had just come from with you using some different languaging. And of course, my friend was like, "Who are you?" And he's kind of confronted, and I want to share like what my breakthroughs were, but he just wasn't open to it. So we got this going on. And I thought, oh, he's so stuck in where he's at. And I see myself like here at this higher level. Anyway, we went down and we performed together. And when I was on stage, I was just open and I just gave. And it resonated with the crowd because I was one of 3 DJs performing with all the people that could flip through channels on their headphones. It's silent disco. I don't know if anyone's done this, but a lot of people stayed on my stage because I was entertaining, I was fun, I was light, I was giving. I actually said, we're all here tonight together with love to celebrate and just have fun. And boy, that me being light and free and that energy just flowing really connected with everybody. And the feedback came from the crowd, and it was amazing.
Was that different than how you normally, than the usual experience? Was that different?
Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm having
we could hear you. Could you hear?
challenge.
Give Scott some love. Give Scott some love. I love it. Could you hear us, Scott?
I couldn't. I had to bring up the volume. I'm here now, fully present.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you had a powerful experience, and this is the gift: is as you're standing in your light, in your purpose, in your contribution, you create the space to share, to uplift, to empower others. And then it becomes this awesome, empowering feedback loop. So it sounds like this was a lighter, more expansive experience than the way that you've DJ'd in the past. So that's awesome.
That's correct.
Give Scott some love. Such a joy to be with you. And then also, here's the thing. How many of you can you relate to what he was sharing earlier, where he's in the car and he's attempting to share with someone and they're just not on the same wavelength? Who's had that experience? And you're like attempting to give them these new insights and realizations. Here's the thing. There's a few insights on that. And one of them is the best way to share is often to be rather than like they're gonna get it. Just like I'm sure when he saw you on the stage after the car ride, he's like, wait a minute, there's something in the vibe. There's something
Yes.
that's happening here that's at a different level than before. So
Yes.
it's like you become the sermon rather than like preaching the sermon, if you will.
I didn't even say anything to the third person that was entertaining on the stage with me, but he kept looking at me like, "What's different about you today? You've shown up and you're being different today. Like not being connected to being right of like where the stage pieces go and just okay." And he's like, "You've shown up differently today." So he noticed it. I didn't even say anything.
See, that was a great insight because sometimes we show up to places, and who can relate to the experience that if you have an old thought or an old prediction or an old paradigm, it's almost like there's a veil between you and the people that you're intending to connect with. It's almost like, and perfection is one example of that. Who's had a pattern of perfection? I try to make everything so perfect
Oh,
that
that's
then,
me. That's me.
well, maybe in the past or up until now. So a pattern of perfection where somebody's trying to make everything so perfect, but then what's happening is rather than being present with the people that you're there to serve, the people that you're there to impact, there's like a veil between that. Or this idea of, oh my gosh, am I doing it right? Or, oh my gosh, am I good enough at this? Who can see that that creates a veil between connection rather than, of course, you do the work, you prepare powerfully to show up at your highest level of excellence. But once you're there, you surrender to the moment with presence. And how powerful is that to surrender to that moment? So give Scott some love. We can't wait to
Can
hear.
I add one bow on the end of it?
Bo on the end. Go ahead.
I hadn't realized that my old patterns had creeped back in. So I look at this like coming back to the campfire when you're at camp and you're far away and you come back and it's warm. I had released some tension that was in my neck that had been building up. And I thought it was just a physical thing. And I had been going to the doctor and going to the doctor. And after yesterday, when I was just open and that energy unlocked and came out, and I felt so much better physically yesterday because of the mental release.
Hallelujah. That's huge what you've just shared.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So there's a physiological release. The nervous system can now relax.
Yes.
Anybody been having a vigilant nervous system more often than you should? Anybody's nervous system been like a bit on edge to make sure that you're safe, that you're protected, that something's not going to go wrong? That takes a lot of life force energy.
Yes.
Imagine what you're going to do with all that energy once it's liberated. Just imagine the fullness of your unique expression, the fullness of your creative powers, the fullness of the unique expression and essence that is you embodied, authentically aligned, unobstructed. This is the foundation of joy, prosperity, fulfillment, creativity, impact. The life you incarnated to have, the most magnificent life. And what Scott's talking about right now, which touches my heart because it's precisely what I'm intending in this shared journey together. And this is a return to the campfire, okay? And for some of you that have been with me for years, how many of you have been with me for years and you know this is a spiritual home and you've come and maybe you've gone on your journeys and you come back? Welcome home into the fire, into the campfire. And how many of you are here for the first time? You're like, whoa, maybe I got a Facebook ad or maybe something happened. I just arrived at the campfire for the first time. Wherever you are, you're in the perfect place for the ultimate breakthrough. And what Scott described, which is so powerful, is that the most lasting transformation is both top down and bottom up. That's the lasting. What do I mean by top down? Top down, that intellectual understanding. How many of you love to know? You're like, okay, how does this work? What's really going on? Tell me the science of this. What's actually happening? Okay, and we can talk through this so you have intellectual understanding. Your prefrontal cortex is very happy, okay? But the ultimate breakthrough is both bottom up. This is your nervous system. And one of the things that you experience when you come here and you turn your camera on, because that's a prerequisite for the greatest breakthrough. Gentle, loving reminder, if it's not yet on, is that you come into a safe space where you're seen and you allow yourself to be seen. Has anyone ever had a pattern before of not allowing themselves to be seen? Anyone had a pattern before of hiding or shrinking or playing less than you can be? Or stepping back or invalidating yourself or putting other people's opinions ahead or before your own? These are some of the things I read in the VIP questionnaire. Anyone had a pattern of feeling like you don't belong? Right now is where that pattern interrupts. Right now. And it interrupts with that camera on here in presence. Where in this sacred reflection we go, that's it. It's time for a new beginning. Who's ready for a new beginning? Literally, like a rebirth of your authentic self that liberates the patterns of the past. So you step into the next stage of your creativity, your contribution, your purpose, your power. We have a name for new beginnings in this community. If you know what the name is, you can put it in the chats. What's the name we have for new beginnings? It's neogenesis. Neo in Greek means new, and Genesis means beginning. And we have the space right here, right now, today, like a portal to create a new beginning in our lives. And you're in the perfect place at the perfect time. So let's dive in. If you've got your soul work book, we're going to go into page 16. Look, Linda's got hers printed. She's holding it up. Awesome. And here's some of the patterns, okay? These are my notes from your questionnaire. Patterns that you are committed to break free of. I don't want it. I don't belong. Switching focus wondering whether I'm on the right path. Procrastination. Fear to move on. I'm not deserving. My efforts won't pay off. Accepting other people's opinions of my own. Consistent negativity. I'm not ready. Playing small. Hiding. I'm not ready for bigger and better. Anybody related to any of those? Ready to experience it for the last time? Okay. Awesome. So let's go. Give yourselves a little, let's get some energy going in the body. Little shake, moving the body. All right. So yesterday we talked about the predictive brain. Today I'm going to give you another angle of understanding that through the lens of neuro-linguistic programming, through the lens of NLP. For those of you that are graduates, this is going to be a quick review, but very powerful because you can continue to have breakthroughs on this teaching. This is the communication model in NLP. So the communication model states that we live in a field of infinite possibilities. Right now, there's infinite possibilities of what you can create in your business, with your relationships, with your purpose, your prosperity financially, infinite ways of creating offers that can serve people through your unique talents and gifts, infinite ways of collaborating with others, joint venture partnerships. You have a field of infinite possibilities. Now what happens, and that's this image right here of the person, and I'll come out of this so I can be present with you, so I can see your faces for a moment, and then we'll go back to the diagram if you like. Is in a field of infinite possibilities, your brain, your nervous system, your body cannot take in all that information. It's like trying to download the whole internet all at once, right? We can't do it. So what do we do all day long? We all do it. We are deleting information. Okay. Yesterday we talked about how the predictive brain suppresses evidence of your capabilities. Who remembers that from yesterday? Predictive brain is suppressing when you're capable. So from an NLP perspective, we're deleting things. What is it possible that a person's deleting? If a person is in the belief or the mindset of, let's say, I don't belong or I don't deserve it. Those are some from the questionnaires. When they go into a field of infinite possibilities, which is right now, this is existence. This is the ultimate reality. When they go into that, there's certain things they're not seeing. They're in this, actually, I'm going to take out this. They're deleting possibilities. And they're seeing through the lens of this very small awareness, if you will. So they're deleting, which is the same from a neuroscience perspective as suppressing. Everybody got that? They're distorting. Who's heard the old parable where a person sees a rope but mistakes it as a snake? Have you heard that old parable? Someone's going, they look at a rope, they jump back because their mind sees the snake first, but it's not a snake, it's a rope. So in other words, they projected that fear, or another way of saying it, they predicted that fear, but it's not just in the mind, it's in the body because the body had a reaction, yes? So NLP says we delete, we distort, and we generalize reality. Delete, distort, and generalize. And we only pick up a tiny little bit of what's actually going on in the true and ultimate reality. The true and ultimate reality is incredible. It's amazing. It's filled with infinite possibilities, and it's responding to us. It's responding to our intention. It's responding to our belief. It's responding to our faith. The Bible talks about this. This is why the good book says over and over, do not fear. It continues to say to have faith. Faith the size of a mustard seed. Talked about that yesterday. Faith, that big. You can move mountains. Now here's the deal. You can't have faith and doubt at the same time. So who would love to anchor states of empowering beliefs, faith, possibility, like anchor states of excellence? How amazing would it be to anchor them so they become a natural action? Would that be powerful? At SIA, which I talked about yesterday, remember we talked about SIA, it's happening next month. I do an entire segment on anchoring. What is anchoring? Anytime you are in a highly emotional state, things get anchored. The challenge is some of these anchors were disempowering. Anybody have some disempowering anchors where somebody could say or do something and you react in a disempowering manner? Okay. You ready to experience it for the last time, Richard? Ready to let go of those disempowering anchors? Anybody have someone that can push your buttons? And then all of a sudden you react? Get curious, because if they can push your buttons, that person has become a teacher in the most beautiful way. And if you make it about them, you don't evolve. So when someone's pushing your buttons, you go back within, you go, whoa, what is coming up within me in the presence of this? And then you get clear, wow, hurt is coming up within me. Anger is coming up within me. Feeling not enough is coming up within me. Who can relate to this in the presence of another rather than making it about them? Now you're doing the deep inner work. You're doing the soul work. Okay? That's the soul work. I'm going deep within. This person is triggering something within me that is coming up for new awareness, coming up for review. And how awesome it is. And that's one of the things that SIA gives you. SIA gives you insight on how to respond when life triggers you in ways that in the past used to disempower you. Trigger you in ways that in the past caused you to lose your power. So as we really get this model, and I'm curious, I'm going to look at the chats to see how many breakthroughs we're getting here in the house from this, because here's what you realize from this model. And I had this conversation with my dear friend, Michael Beckwith. Who knows Michael Beckwith? He's the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center. We've been friends for so many years. And I was having this conversation with him. He was actually a special guest in a event that I did a couple months ago. And I was talking to him and I said, you know, in a field of infinite possibilities, I said, perception is projection. I said to him, which is an NLP term. You guys with me? Okay, I just lost the screen for a moment. See, improvise, adapt, and overcome, okay? Sometimes life is going to give you a glitch. Your ability to stay, my screen just changed. I was like, what happened? Life is going to give you a glitch. But your ability to stay clear, centered, powered, no matter what curveballs come your way, this is the journey to mastery. Okay. So I said to him, perception is projection. And he looks at me and he said, in a field of infinite possibilities, you do not describe what you see, but rather you see what you describe. I want to really pause and make sure that lands. You're not looking at your bank account and describing what's in there. You're not looking at your body and just describing it. You're not looking at your relationships and describing them. What's showing up, it's reflecting back to you your own thoughts, your own focus, your own beliefs, your own core values, your own identity, your self-concept, your sense of self. My dear friends, this is awesome news. See, my dogs are getting excited. I don't know if you could hear them in the background. They're cheering you on over there. This is exciting news. What it means you have the ability to shift it. We talked about that yesterday from a neuroscience perspective. It's called the Hebbian learning. Neuroscience says, right, the neurons that fire together wire together. So what are we going to do? We're going to interrupt those old patterns. We're going to interrupt those old ways of thinking and being. So you step into the next stage of your journey. Okay. Who's been projecting or predicting some disempowering stuff into the field of infinite possibilities? And you're ready to take ownership on that. You're like, okay, with lovingly. There's no judgment here. This is unconditional love. You're ready to take ownership on that, release it, and allow something new to come in. So it is. Okay. So now, excuse me one moment. Okay. Telling my boys that we're going deep into Hebbian learning. All right, the next section is the reticular activating system. And let me share with you about this. It's the part of your brain that tells you what to notice. Okay, the part of your brain that tells you what to notice. Sometimes it's oversimplified in a lot of personal development realms, but here's what it actually is. Reticular activating system shares and reveals that your brain receives a lot more information than you can consciously process. Okay, getting a lot more information. So your attention is selective. The reticular activating system plays a key role in regulating where your attention goes. It's influencing what is reaching your conscious awareness. So it's revealing, it's tuning in your attention to what feels relevant, important, familiar, or significant. So for example, if someone has top of mind that they're not ready, okay? If that's a dominant thought where they've been looping, I'm not ready, I don't have what it takes. What happens is that thought goes to the forefront and the brain starts sorting infinite possibilities and finding things that match that prediction, so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what's required is tools to interrupt the pattern. And not just interrupt the pattern while it's happening, interrupt the pattern before it comes on. How many of you can almost sense as it's about to happen? Anybody can sense that like something's coming, okay? You can almost start predicting that conversation, predicting that challenge. So there's a precise moment. We actually teach a process at SIA, which you will learn next month, called the swish. And that process is about guiding you to find and isolate the trigger that ends up leading into a disempowering response or reaction. Reaction is better than response. Okay. So if you have something that can trigger you and then you shut down, anyone had something like that? You trigger and then you shut down, or trigger and you step back, trigger and you maybe play smaller. You can say like this with me, up until now. Okay, say it just like that, up until now, because this is a brand new moment. So what SIA does so powerfully is it interrupts what neuroscientists, SIA and NEO, today we're going to talk about the complement of the power of this teaching, which is, I briefly mentioned neogenesis, creating a new beginning, is that it consciously interrupts that old prediction loop. Okay? So when you have a limiting belief And remember, the belief matrix is multidimensional. It's not just beliefs. It's like an identity. It's core values. It's a sense of self, self-concept. It's all of these. It's an embodied prediction in your nervous system. So what happens when somebody gets caught in that loop? It's literally like a loop. They have a particular belief, I'm not ready. That belief shapes their expectations. So all of a sudden, these expectations influence what they notice, what they even perceive. Their perception is influenced from that belief. So then that links to responses. Now they're responding, they're thinking and acting in alignment with that belief, and then it reinforces it. So the loop, this is what keeps people locked in a pattern. And it runs automatically until you interrupt it. Okay. And there's a lot of ways to interrupt it. That's one of the things I love about SIA is it gives you a lot of tools to interrupt it. I see Mina in the room. Mina's a graduate of SIA. She's been here for a while. Mina, would it be okay if I shared your story?
Absolutely, yes.
I love it. So I haven't seen Mina for a while. Mina's been in our community for many years. And I will always remember your story because it's so heartfelt. It lives inside my heart. When I was first on tour with my book, where we published from Random House, this book, Supreme Influence, I was doing a tour in LA. And after I finished an event, I don't remember, there was several hundred people at this event, and I was signing books at the end. And Mina waited in line till I signed all the books. She was actually the last person in line when I signed the books. And I remember when I walked up to her, or she walked up to me, and I looked at her, and I looked at you, Mina, and I said, "Are you coming to SIA?" And she had like a tear come down her eye, and she said, "I'd love to come, but I can't." And I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words, maybe you can remember and you'll share in a moment, but she was like, "I can't afford it." And she was sharing with me some of the financial challenges she was having. Who could relate to an old pattern like that? And I can't afford a pattern, or not enoughness pattern, or not enough money, not enough time. And I remember I looked at her and I could see her light, I could see her beauty, I could see her unique expression, even though she was having these challenging moments. And I said to my team, "Grab me this CD set," and I still have it. This is the original, okay? And I gave her as a gift this multimedia set. I said, "It's a gift." And I said, "There's a CD in there on the power of questions." We're not even going into this teaching today, but it is one of the angles that I'm inspired to give you, because we're going to go deep into it next month, because a big part of how you're experiencing reality is your language. Who's caught themselves saying things that undermine? Who's ever caught themselves like you're moving forward towards this great life and goal, but then you open your mouth and your mouth says things that contradict what's truly possible for you? Anybody had their own voice contradict what's possible? See, the great book says, "In the beginning was the Word." There's immense power in the word. The word is your creative power. What are you speaking into existence, my friends? So I gave it to her. I said, "There's a CD in there on the power of questions." And I said, "I want you to listen to it. I invite you to listen to it over and over and over again until you have a major breakthrough. And you will. And when you have a major breakthrough, come back and see me." And a few months later, guess who walks in the room? Mina. And she was lit up like a Christmas tree. And she had just signed a new account where she was making $1,000 a day. And it was a major breakthrough. But I got to tell you, what shifted for her and what empowered her to have this major breakthrough, she showed up. She put in the work. She didn't just come, she applied it at the deepest level in her nervous system. And when she was challenged, she kept doing it again and again and again. And since then, she's had breakthroughs in so many areas of life. So Mina, it's always a joy to be here with you. If you just wanted to share with everyone briefly, what was your life like before SIA and before Neo? I know you changed your name when you came to Neo. You added your name Joy, Mina Joy. And then what happened after and what's changed?
If you allow me, I would say my life before meeting you and after meeting you. From the moment I met you at that event, my life changed. And SIA and Neo, it just brought it up more to life, to more changing, to more excitement, to more fulfilling life. Every word that comes out of your mouth and came out of your mouth that day, I mean, I wrote it down. And then the CD that you gifted me, The Power of Questions, I literally, every single word, I transcribe it and I made it to the questions and I started reciting them. And after that, I could not believe that I had like literally making $1,000 a day. And then I came to your course and I pay cash. And I pay cash. And I did that twice. And then I've been with you since then. I mean, no going back. It's a matter of being in your presence. Your presence, and then the courses that you teach that comes through you, it's life-changing. And it's been 10 years. I've been an honor, it's 11 years. Been that honor of being in your presence and learning your courses. The courses is just exponential change. When you show up and then you do the work, it's exponential change. And it's always good to come back, and then it's always something new to learn in your courses. I mean, with Sia, you give us the tools, and I like, oh, this is how I'm gonna do. This is how I can go through this challenge. How can I change this behavior? And then with Neo is the Phoenix. I mean, it's literally dying to your old self and coming to the birth with the new light, new awareness, and a new joy that you can make shifts in the world, in your life, and then that kind of reflects to the entire world, to your community, to the people you live with. It's life-changing event. It's
So
life-changing
powerful
event.
and such a joy. I remember when you declared your name, she changed her middle name at Neogenesis and declared her name Mina Joy, that she rediscovered her joy. And Mina grew up in a culture where there was a lot of oppression in women. So she grew up in a culture where there were certain beliefs. Who grew up in a culture like that? Even I did. My parents were both born in Cuba, and very clearly from the earliest age, my brother was allowed to do things that I was not allowed to do. And then I would ask questions like, well, why does he get to do it and I don't? It was like, because you're a girl. I was like, this is not a good reason. I was like, so who grew up in a culture where there were paradigms, there were beliefs that were projected onto you about what and who you were and what was or wasn't capable. And some of these are very deep, okay? So Sia gives you tools and strategies. Neo's going to go to the root of these old patterns that were likely coded before you even had conscious awareness or logic to question them. And then from there, like you see Mina smile, she goes, it's the Phoenix. We'll talk a little bit more of that in the moment. It's the legend of the Phoenix is about rebirth. It's about new beginnings. It's about allowing the old self to dissolve. And then the next stage of your journey, your impact, your rebirth. Give Mina some love. It's always a joy to be in your beautiful presence. Awesome. Bernadine, did you have a quick question or? Because we're going right back in.
I wanted to share something as you were talking about Mina changing her name.
Yes.
So, but I'm going to make it short. It's like right for me, I'm going through a divorce, and when you say that growing up in a culture where there's suppression of women,
Yeah.
so I've been writing names out that I'm going to change my name to when I get my divorce papers, finally, and I've come up with so many names. I've come up with Lucky. I've come up with Rose. So when you said that, I was like, oh, I couldn't wait to share that.
She's ready. Like her soul is going, I'm ready. Give Bernadine some love. And Bernadine, I'm thrilled because I know you're going to be with us in Neogenesis in Cancun. You even have your beach in the background because
Yes.
we have a virtual event happening and we have a live event
Yes,
happening.
yes.
So you're in the
I'm
perfect
just hoping
place.
it gets through by next month, so I can be completely free. His fighting is so bad, so, but
Okay.
all is well.
Well, I'm intending you're going to be in the VIP room for this session so we can go deeper into that because we have a VIP
Okay.
session on
All right.
Tuesday.
Okay, I will.
And yeah,
Okay,
and on
I'll
Tuesday,
come
we're
in.
going to be able to give Bernadine some love. You're in my heart, Bernadine. You're in my prayers. And I'm inspired for you to bring things consciously and in an honoring manner to completion, and that you gather the learnings and insights from that so as that you go into your next life, the next rebirth, the next stage, you have even more clarity. You have even more alignment.
I'm so free and happy, but
Give her some
it's
love. Do
a
you guys feel
process.
the energy? Yeah, I love it. And this is one of the things I love more as we go into the deeper work. We have, in a very structured manner, more time to really go deep and share. And one of the things that will happen, my dear friends, is in the deeper transformational experiences, you not only have breakthroughs through what I guide and through the processes, you also have breakthrough through the reflection of others in community. Because what will happen is people will end up sharing things. This is one of the magical things that happens. People share things that they've never shared before. They'll end up sharing something that they've kept in the shadows for so long. And all of a sudden, it'll touch another person in the room, because whatever's been happening to you isn't only within you, it's in the field. All of a sudden, someone shares about their deepest trauma in a very structured format, but they share and they allow themselves, and it's liberating. Who's held on to some things that are like your secret? I'm not going to share this. This is like my, skeleton in the closet. Nobody needs to know about that. But it takes energy to keep those in there. You know what I'm saying? So when you know you're in a safe space with true unconditional love, divine love, agape love, zero judgment, all of you is welcome. The light, the shadow, the full spectrum, even the parts of you didn't even want to welcome. Those are welcome too. Even the parts you didn't like or embarrassed, those are all welcome. Something happens. And yes, it happens spiritually. It also happens scientifically. Science says that in that safe space, miracles happen. You can step outside of, where's my frame? Here it is. You can step outside these old patterns, okay? And experience them in a new way, in a new light. There's something called the Pygmalion effect. This reminds me of the Pygmalion effect. It's on page, for those of you that are in your VIP soul work book, the Pygmalion effect is on page 18. Who has heard of the Pygmalion effect? Okay. Who's heard of the Pygmalion effect? Give me a yes in the chat. Who's never heard of the Pygmalion effect? You can put your hands up and go, I've never. Oh my goodness, this is so awesome. So studies, they've done numerous studies on the Pygmalion effect, and I'm going to abbreviate the study. So what they've done is they've said to teachers, without the teachers being aware of it, they've gone into teachers that have a group full of students, and they've told the teachers, these particular students over here are gifted. They're gifted, they're brilliant, they're way ahead of the class, and we just wanted to make sure that you knew that when they show up, how they behave, that they're the brilliant, gifted students. But these students over here have learning challenges, and they're slower to learn, and they're troubled. Okay. Now, the teachers were told this on blind studies, meaning that what they were being told about the students wasn't true. Okay? The study found again and again that the perception of the teacher on the student influenced the student's performance every time. So when the teacher believed truly that the student was brilliant, that they were gifted, so like if they didn't get something, they saw it differently. They gave it a different meaning. Oh, they have a different way of processing. They're brilliant. They're seeing it different. The teacher's belief about the student, the teacher's expectation influenced the ultimate outcome of how the student performed. Have you ever had this experience where someone believed in you even more than you believed in yourself at the time, and it caused you to rise to the occasion? Who's had that? Who's had the gift of that type of mentor, of that type of teacher, of someone who sees you even greater than you see yourself at the time, and you step up to that? Now, have you ever had the opposite happen? How many of you have ever had somebody who looks at you and thinks, oh, you're going to screw up. You don't get this. You don't have what it takes. Or have you done that to someone? How many of you have ever looked at someone else and go, this person's just, they don't get it at all? What if you knew that your belief and your expectation about others influences or has the power I don't want to say influences because there may be exceptions to that, of course. You may have somebody who is so clear and aligned in who they are that your perception means nothing to them, right? Because they're so clear and aligned in who they are that perceptions and projections are irrelevant. Would you love to be in that place where you're so aligned with who you are that other people's perceptions and projections are not going to infiltrate your being because you're so embodied in knowing who you are? Knowing that you're always growing, you're always evolving. The journey is infinite, by the way. It's not like you ever arrive. A lot of people get stuck thinking they arrive. Like, I'm going to get there, and then I'm at a place of mastery. Mastery is a practice. That's why the greatest martial artists in the world, guess what they say? They say they practice. They have a practice. So the Pygmalion effect. So I'll tell you a quick story. Remember I ran away from home when I was 15? Well, I ran away from home and I ended up feeling like such a loser because I had dropped out of high school that I went and got my GED before my class had graduated high school, and I enrolled in community college. So I was a freshman in community college while my class was still seniors in high school. And all of a sudden, who's ever hit rock bottom so bad that you go, it is never going to be like this again? Anybody had something like that happen? Where you go, I am never going to be here again. That's what happened with me. And I had a 1.6 grade point average in high school. The very first class I ever took in college was an English 101 with a professor named Professor Breedenberg, Dr. Breedenberg. Dr. Breedenberg had crazy Einstein-like hair, and he was a graduate of Yale, Ivy League. And the first week of class, he gave us an assignment where we all had to write a paper. And he gave us the whole, didn't give us a lot of instructions, just said, write a paper. And what I did because I sincerely was in a place of prayer and devotion to figure out how to change my life, but I didn't know how yet. Who's been in that place where you're so sincere and you're in such like, please reveal the path, but you don't know exactly what that looks like yet. But you're authentic in your prayer and devotion and asking. That's where I was. So when he gave this assignment, I put my heart and soul into it. And I turned it in. And when he read it, he looks at me. He said, I need you to stay after class. I was like, oh. Prediction error for me, or excuse me, before the prediction, my prediction was, what did I do now? How did I screw this up? Because my old pattern was, I do things and it screwed it up. I do it and it's not enough. So he's like, stay after class. I'm like, oh man. So I stayed after class and he said something to me that no one had said to me before. Ever. He looked at me and he said, Niurka, you're brilliant. He said, you shouldn't be in this class. He said, you should be in the honors class. He says, I'm going to take you to go see Dr. Emerson. All of a sudden we go to see Dr. Emerson, who's head of the Honor Society. And Dr. Emerson looks at me and he says, on Dr. Breedenberg's recommendation, we're going to move you into the Honor Society, which means you're going to be taking honors classes and we're going to pay for all of your tuition and books. In that moment, that was a major breakthrough. I was working multiple jobs just to pay for school. And I was feeling less than. In that moment, he recognized something in me and I took it to heart and I stepped forward. So when you have that gift, okay, somebody has seen the light in you, the brilliance. I'm seeing that in you right now. I don't see the self-doubt. I don't see the old patterns. I see the luminous light, the unique expression that nobody else on the planet has. Nobody has your secret sauce. Onita, Bella, Tracy, Elena, nobody has it. Nobody has your unique expression, your way of shining light, your way of bringing your gifts into the world. And there's somebody praying for your puzzle piece right now. I took it to heart and it was so profound that I started taking the actions. I went from becoming a 1.6 grade point average in high school to having a 4.0 in college. I had 1 B in German. I was not happy about that. Okay. I ended up becoming the president of Phi Theta Kappa, the vice president of finance of Phi Theta Kappa, the Honor Society. I ended up becoming the student body president of Miami-Dade Community College, which is the largest community college in the United States. At the time, they had over 100,000 students, and I became the student body president. All of this happened from the portal of someone recognizing that in me and me choosing to step through the portal. I could have stayed on the other side of it, but I chose to step through. And that was the difference that makes the difference. The action. So yesterday we talked about the predictive brain. Now we talked about the Pygmalion effect. Who could see that those are pretty connected? The Pygmalion effect. Okay. There's a third one, which is also in the VIP book on page 18, which is the placebo effect. Who's heard of the placebo effect? Placebo effect, and they've done numerous studies on this, is when they give someone a pill, but they tell them this is going to make you better. They do studies where they give someone the actual pill that makes them better, and they do studies where they give another person just a fake pill, like a little, pill that has nothing in it, but they tell them this is going to make you better. We know that when a person believes that something is going to make them better, okay? When someone believes that something is going to make them better, it does. Or it has the power to. I'm not going to say it does every single time, but it's more likely to. How about that? So we can keep in our scientific accuracy here. It's more likely to. So what is the key? To believe. To have faith the size of a mustard seed. I love how the great book talks about this so many times, and it's not only the Bible, it's many spiritual teachings, many spiritual traditions that talk about the power of our belief. Here is one of the many stories in the Gospels in Matthew, where a blind man, Jesus, Yeshua, a blind man has an encounter with a blind man. And Jesus asked, "Do you believe that I'm able to do this?" The man says, "Yes. Yes, Lord, according to your faith, let it be done." These are very important distinctions. He didn't say, "I'm going to do it to you." He said, "According to your faith." Did you get that? That's according to your faith, which presupposes that the transformation requires something. Okay? The transformation requires a particular frequency. What does the transformation require? Faith. It requires trust. It requires a surrender of the old story, a surrender of the old narrative. Who in the past has been desiring transformation from a place of doubt? Okay. So it's like in that moment. Here's the beautiful thing, my friends. The moment you become aware that doubt is present, you've already come into a space of greater awareness. It requires faith. The moment you recognize doubt and release it, faith can be present in that moment. So doubt can actually be a portal into faith just through awareness, right? You realize it comes up, you go, whoa, that's the old doubt. That's precisely what Niurka shared. Now, here's the thing. With these 1 and 2 hour sessions or 2 hour sessions, you get breakthroughs and you make progress. The deepest transformation requires an immersive experience. Who can tell there's a difference between when we're just at the surface of stuff versus going all in? I mean, like all in. It's all in. It's like the baptism of your transformation, right? You got to be dunked all in and come back. We're not just sprinkling water on you. We're dunking you all in into the next stage of your evolution. So what you're doing at SIA, what you're doing at Neogenesis with completely different tools, the courses are completely different, is you're going through a transformational process. Can you all see this diagram? Transformational process. It's on page 19 of the VIP book. So what is this transformational process? Let me bring it here with my, okay. Can you all see it here too? Thumbs up. Okay. So it begins with eliciting the old map of the world, eliciting the old way of thinking and being, eliciting the old predictive pattern. We elicit it. We bring it out of the shadows into the light. Here's the old pattern. And what I'm going to invite you to do in a moment, so we can make this super real for you, is I'm going to invite you to pick a context of your life that by you having a breakthrough in this context, it would be a game changer. Who's got a particular context they can pick? Let's put it in the chats. Would it be your finances? Would it be your health and vitality? Would it be your business and your life's purpose? If you can transform one area of your life that I can support you with and guide you with, that would be so meaningful, so powerful, such a gift that you would be like, hallelujah, thank you. What is that? So finances, business, health, pick one. Some of you are like putting all 5 in there. You're like the finances, the business, the health, and the purpose all at once, okay? Just pick one. Because what we're going to do, what we do at SIA, what we do at NEO is we're going to guide you to elicit the old map of the world, elicit the old predictive pattern, bring it out of the shadows and into the light. And then once we elicit it, to start loosening it. Start loosening it. And the more you show up, the more I'm starting to get to know you. So I already know the pattern Andy is loosening is different than the one Helen is loosening. So I can meet you where you are on this epic journey. Different than the one Roberta's loosening, okay? But ultimately, they're all obstructions that are dissolving. They're all what in Sanskrit we call kleshas. Kleshas. What are the kleshas in Sanskrit? They are the obstacles. The obstacles to enlightenment, the obstacles to fulfilling your purpose. There are obstacles. Who has lived their life wishing there were no obstacles? Anybody even over here like, hello, can we like just eliminate the obstacles so everything can be peace, love, light, and harmony? Okay. So the obstacles are what test your mettle. They're what cause you to grow. They're what cause you to get strong. They're what cause you to expand. They're what cause you to be able to come full circle on the hero's journey of your life and then be able to empower others through your reflection. Who can feel that they're like in the icky part of the hero's journey? This is where I fight the dragons. Okay, I'm in that part of the hero's journey where I am fighting the dragons. Well, guess what? Once you go through that initiation, which is what it is, you come out the other side with the elixir. What is that? The gift. That is what SIA, and that is ultimately at the deepest level what NEO gives you. A realization that there is a gift buried within the greatest challenges of your life. That is the ultimate alchemy. That's why it is a journey of alchemy. SIA is a journey of awakening. NEO is a journey of alchemy. Who knows the word alchemy? The fires of transformation. Taking anything that has shackled you and bringing the fires of transformation. So that you source the gift within the challenge. And as you integrate this gift, you integrate this learning. All of a sudden, it's like the clouds part. And you're living the embodiment of that song. Who remembers the song? I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see now, right? That's a good feeling. Because in the past, those clouds may have been mistaken for reality. So what do? We elicit the old predictive pattern, the old model, the old map of the world, the old way of thinking and being. We loosen it. We start creating predictive errors, okay, according to science, where you can't predict anymore. It's a new experience. It's novel. It's fresh. It's exciting. We're interrupting the old patterns, and we're guiding you very precisely with a lot of tools, applied neuroplasticity, science, neuro-linguistic programming. My company is also an institute of hypnotherapy, timeline therapy. These are very powerful modalities to release the old pattern and then to allow the authentic light that is you to pour forth unobstructed, to receive the fullness that is you. It's not even, it's allowing that. Anybody block their light before today? Time to shine. And you know what? The world needs it. Okay? The world needs your light. The world, the first thing is really about you. Ultimately, you living your authentic self, your presence heals, my friend. It's not even what you're doing. Yes, that also, but your presence heals because you've become a clear, present, embodied, the truth of who you are, not the falsehood. And when you're embodied in the truth of who you are, your presence heals. Who's had that experience where you just meet someone who's so in their presence, so in their light, so in their authenticity, and just being in their presence shifts the energy in the room. You become the thermostat. That's what we're talking about. Who's ready to grow in leadership? Who's ready to grow in impact? Okay? It starts with that full healing journey, and then all of a sudden you walk into a room, you become the thermostat. How cool is that? You set the temperature. You're not the thermometer. Has anybody been a thermometer in the past? You walk into the room and all of a sudden you change based on everybody else? How about if you could set the tone, set the temperature? This is a room of possibility. This is a room of love. This is a room of joy. This is a room of prosperity. This is a room of higher purpose. What do you think can happen on the planet? This is why when you take action, we reward you by bringing a guest that's new to the community. Why? Because this is the impact that the world needs right now. More people in an empowering conversation. So you receive the highest light that is you and you integrate. What do we mean by integrate? Integrate means it's not just in your head. It's not just like this great thought. It's embodied. You're breathing it. And then from here, we test our work. And then we literally go into the future. We literally create your desired results in advance in consciousness and then step into your creation. Let me share with you a super inspiring case study from one of our brilliant community members who went through this transformational process just like you are and went through the deep dive experience and what it's changed in her business and life. And one of the reasons why I love showing case studies is because science tells us that when you can see something and you go, if that person can do it, I can do it. Okay? So Andrea Lucchesi, some of you may know Andrea because she's an amazing leader. She's an author. She's a spiritual teacher. She has courses from around the world. When she first came to my course, she was living in a fog. She said that. She says, when I came, I was living in a fog. She wasn't clear with what she was going to be doing with her purpose, with her business. But she came and she played full out. She was all in. And a few months after walking out the door, she said opportunity after opportunity came into her life. And this is the success story right after. There's been huge successes since then. She realized she wasn't only going to hit her goal of $250,000 a year, but she's going to far surpass it. So since then, she's created her own courses, her own events. She has an amazing following. She's an author. She's a leader. And she's an extraordinary individual. Listen to her story here. Let me make sure I got the volume on as she shares briefly for a minute what happened when she decided to go all in and play full out. Andrea.
I'm completely blown away by just the power and the truth that Niurka is able to elicit in me. Last year when I came, I was just living in a fog. A few months after I walked out of the doors, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity just kept showing up. And I realized very quickly that not only was I going to hit that goal of $250,000, but I was going to far surpass it. And so I came back this year to gain even more clarity, and I know exactly what to do now and exactly what steps to take. And she brings another breakthrough, and it's just like, you're just like vibrating in this frequency. It's amazing. And so now I get to leave with even more knowledge and this energy that's going to allow me to get to that next level. So everyone needs to be in the presence of Niurka. Everyone needs to get to an event. Everyone needs to experience this for themselves, because it's one of those things you can't always articulate in words, but you can feel it in your energy. You all need to experience that, because from that place we can go out and co-create anything that we deeply want. So thank you, Niurka, for helping me turn my dreams into a reality.
So powerful, so heartfelt. We have birthed so many transformational leaders, master coaches that now have their own following and their own businesses. And Andrea has even brought her students. She's even bought packages to bring her students through Neogenesis. That powerful. So Bella, I can see you have your hand up, but I'm going to have to go through because I need to be mindful of time. This is why I love making sure that you are registered for the VIP. My team will drop the link to make sure you guys are joining us, because in VIP, we have a integration session 2 days from now on Tuesday, where you're going to have an opportunity to ask all the questions, and not just ask questions, allow me to coach you. Bring your challenges, bring whatever's been happening, and allow me to coach you. We'll see if we have time today to take a few questions at the end, but we've got so much to cover. And again, this is why I love having more time. When we have 2 hours, I'm I'm inspired yet challenged. Let me check in though real quick before we go to the next segment. How's everyone doing? Share with me in the chats. If you've been having breakthroughs, put the B's in the chat so I could see them. How's our experience here? I love it, Onita. I can feel your energy. I can feel you're ready. Karen's going, B, 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 B. I love it. Okay. Lots of breakthroughs in the house. All right. Awesome. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to give you a teaching that has the power to create a major breakthrough, specifically from Neogenesis, our total immersion transformational experience. Okay. So let me bring up some slides here real quick. And while I teach this, I'm going to invite you to pick a particular area of your life in a moment that you are committed to transform. So it's not only the ultimate journey of you living aligned, empowered, authentically. It's not only about learning new strategies, new distinctions, new better ways of communicating, new techniques. Part of it is learning new things that work, right? Another part of it is unlearning. Who can relate to how essential it is to unlearn some of the things that you may have learned that do not serve you? Yoda said, you must unlearn what you have learned. So what are some things that you may have learned that you would like to unlearn? Put them in the chats. What are some things you learned that you would like to unlearn? Okay, maybe unlearning reacting with anger. Maybe unlearning, okay, there you go, Tule, some disempowering beliefs. So the journey that we have available to you is both. It's both learning what works, learning patterns of excellence, and then modeling those patterns through your unique expression. Modeling is not copying, okay? It's modeling the structure of excellence, but then it's unlearning what no longer serves you. So Sia and Neo is the next step of this journey. Yesterday we talked about Sia. Today we're going to go deeper and talk about Neo, and we'll answer all questions to make sure you have the clarity to decide what's best for you. So the awesome news is Sia, which stands for Supreme Influence in Action, is happening next month. So it's 4 days, total immersion, 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. Neo is happening live virtual, just like this, live virtual in November. Those are the dates. And then it's happening in person in a beautiful 5-star resort on the beaches of the Mayan Riviera in Cancun. I love the combination of virtual and live. Something very powerful happens when you come live. Why? Because when we're live, your body's there. And we have experiences that we do on the ocean, in the beach, in the water caves. There's things that we bring in to amplify the experience viscerally. So it's not just like intellectual, like, oh, my prefrontal cortex gets it. It's like your body is immersed in the ocean of transformation. So let me give you the specific teaching. So one of the things that I share is that these courses are like going into a cocoon. And I got the beautiful picture of a chrysalis here. The journey of the caterpillar going into the chrysalis or into the cocoon. And this is very akin as a metaphor to what's happening with us. So we've been living this particular existence, but we have a bigger vision of what's possible, yes? So imagine the caterpillar having this bigger vision of taking flight, of being able to see things from a higher perspective. And all of a sudden, the caterpillar, it's within its nature. I believe something brought you here. Who can tap into that? I sense this is a divine appointment. I don't sense something greater brought you here. Because I'm living in prayer of like, whoever this is meant to impact, please bring them here. I know there's people living in prayer of what they're intending to create. So this is a divine appointment. So in this space, there's a chrysalis that's created. And what is a chrysalis? It's a safe cocoon. It's a safe, sacred space. A safe container. A sacred container that allows the old self to dissolve completely. And in that dissolution, the new creation that then births as that beautiful butterfly, or the symbol which Mina mentioned of neogenesis is the phoenix. Who's never heard the legend of the phoenix? Who has heard the legend of the phoenix? It's such a beautiful story. And myth is very powerful because it reflects something within our own lives. So the legend of the phoenix is there's this beautiful mythical bird with colors of gold and scarlet and teals. And this beautiful bird knows when its time has come, that it's time to die to the old self. So what it does is it ceremoniously builds a nest of cinnamon and myrrh and frankincense. And then it ignites a sacred fire and it dances in the flames, allowing the old self to dissolve. And then from the ashes, a new egg is born, from which a new phoenix is born, that then soars into the temple of the sun and into the stage of its next journey, conscious creation, empowered evolution, impact. My dear friends, you are the phoenix. I am the phoenix. We are all the phoenix. There comes a moment where you know that a part of you must die. The old stories, the old narratives, who's there? Like it is time to lovingly and ceremoniously and honoringly create that sacred space that allows the dissolution of the old self so that the rebirth of the light that is you and what you incarnated on this planet to bring can pour forth. If you're with me, give me a big yes. It'll be like, yes, okay? So that is neogenesis. So here's what is going to happen. Let me give you a very specific teaching of the massive breakthrough you're going to have when you join us for neogenesis. Everyone pick an area of their life, of your life, that by you having a major breakthrough in this area, just pick one, everything else is going to improve. Like what's been up for you? Have you had a certain thought that's been up for you, that's been a challenge, that's been, has finances been up for you? Has your health and vitality been up for you? What's been consuming your time, energy, focus, resources? What's been taking up space? Put something in the chats. I'm going to invite everybody to put something in the chats because I want to have this teaching be super impactful and real for you. And Bella, I'm glad you put health, because if health has been up, put health. Right? When you don't have your health, you don't have anything. If you've been worried about finances and money and having a breakthrough around money, put finances. Everybody got one? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you got it. And if your camera's not on, gentle reminder, put it on, okay? Because we're going deep. So in this category, right now, in the moment of now, you're getting a result. It's likely not the result you ultimately want. That's why you put it there. You sense that you want a better result, but you're getting a result currently. What determines the results that you're currently getting? If you look at your results in your health, in your body, you look at your results in your bank account, what is determining your results? Okay, yeah, so Roberta says it's your actions. What actions are you taking, or what actions are you not taking? Talked about that a moment ago. Sometimes somebody takes hasty action that undermines their energy and then they need to unwind it. Okay, that's why we talked about earlier about strategic action, focused action, purposeful action. So what determines the actions you take? We've been talking about beliefs, right? Scott put it up there, your beliefs. Yes? That are being fueled by deep core values. Core values. That are being fueled by your identity, self-concept. We're going deeper. This is, how do you answer the question, who am I? In your quiet moments with you and you, how do you answer the question, what's most important to you? What if I shared with you that I could sit with someone for a few minutes and I could elicit their core values? And I could teach you how to do that. Would that be valuable, to learn how to elicit someone's core values? In the context of relationship, how important would it be to elicit your future spouse's core values before you marry them. Would that be pretty important? As a matter of fact, values misalignment is one of the 3 primary reasons why relationships fail. There's 3 reasons primarily why relationships fail. One of them is misalignment in core values. And if you remind me at the end of the training, I'll tell you the other 2, but it's another teaching, so I'm going to keep you on the edge of your seat. If you remind me at the end of the training, I'll tell you all 3 reasons why relationships fail. Who would like to know? Okay, so you got to make a note and remind me. How important would it be to elicit someone's values before you do business with them, before they become your business partner? How important would it be to elicit someone's value before you hire them? Or before they hire you even, okay? So values are really important. Values answer the question, what's most important to you? But sometimes I ask people the question. I'll look at them and I'll say, so what's most important to you in your business? And they'll say something to me like success and contribution. But then I look at their result and they're not succeeding. They're struggling. They have roller coaster results. They're not contributing because they're waiting that one day, once I hit this outcome, then I'll contribute. So the question becomes, is success and contribution really their core values, yes or no? Based on the result, it's what they wish their values were. There's a gap. In other words, there's a gap between their intention of what they want to have happen and the embodied prediction. There's a gap. If you felt that gap, you can nod your head if you felt that gap. Okay. So Sia and Neo is about bridging that gap. So that when you declare it, success and contribution, that is an embodied reality. So you can always tell what someone's values are by looking at their result. Who's been getting roller coaster results in this area? Like you take a couple step forward, a couple step back. Would it be valuable to uncover what's going on there? Okay, what's going on? Why roller coaster results? I'll share with you a story that I read, an article that I found very insightful, and it was about Oprah. And they had asked her in the interview, they said, why do you work? And she lit up. She's like, I work because I love it. It's my contribution. The kids, she had all these things she was saying. But then they said, why do you work out? And she said, so I don't have a fat butt. So here's one of the distinctions. Core values are driven by a deep subconscious motivation to either move toward a vision or to move away from pain. What happens when somebody starts pushing away from pain? Like, I don't want to be fat. Is there a difference between someone who says, I don't want to be fat versus someone that says, my body is a temple? I'm inspired to nurture, care for my body, strengthen my body, take care of my body. Is it different if the mindset, the paradigm, if the prediction is I don't want to be fat versus I'm honoring my body temple? How can I nourish my body temple for the greatest energy and vitality? Are those people going to take different actions based on that value? So, and when I first got this, for me, it was a breakthrough. So if you're having a breakthrough, you can put B's in the chats, is this. When someone, in NLP, we call this a meta program. I'm not going to get too detailed into the distinctions, but a meta program are even deeper programs than limiting beliefs. So if somebody has a meta program to move away from something unwanted, like I don't want to be fat, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to have to struggle about money, I don't want to be alone. What about somebody who gets into a relationship because they don't want to be alone? Is that different than somebody who gets into a relationship because this person's my soulmate, this is my person, hey, juicy love, passion, versus I don't want to be alone? when someone is pushing away from something unwanted. Who has pushed away from something unwanted? Let's look at the categories. How about in finances? Anyone pushed away from something unwanted? I don't want to have to struggle with money. I don't want this to be so hard. I don't want this. If somebody is focusing on what they don't want, what are you giving your energy to? If somebody's saying, I don't want this, what are they giving their energy to? Tell me in the chats. What they don't want. Who remembers Wayne Dyer? Wayne Dyer used to say, you can never get enough of what you don't want. Has anyone been focusing on resisting what they don't want and then wondering why it's showing up? You're in an attraction-based universe. You are a creator. Your focus has creative power. If you're focusing on what you don't want, you're giving energy to what you don't want. It's becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. What's required now? Interrupt that old pattern. Shake your body out, everybody. Okay? It's like interrupting that old pattern. Realigning the focus. And here's the deal. You can attempt to do that on your own. Many of you have been attempting to do that on your own. How many of you have been attempting to do that on your own for a while? You're like, I'm figuring this thing out. I'm going to watch a YouTube video. It's like you're attempting to do it on your own. Well, the fastest way to do it is to allow yourself to be guided. Don't try to figure stuff out on your own. Try to reinvent the wheel. I could work with somebody who's been there. I've been there. All the way into the depths of the darkness. All the way into the depth of the darkness. And in that, where I'm very comfortable because I've been there. But I've got a flashlight and I've got a GPS map and I know the way out into the light. So how powerful would it be to have somebody who has the map, the strategy, the process? That's what this is. So first comes awareness. And you may have that in the breakthroughs. Let me check the chats because the chat's been going over here. Yeah, whatever you put your attention on, you got it, Harry. Whatever you put your attention on expands. So, here's the distinction, my friends. Whenever you're pushing away from something unwanted, it creates roller coaster results. Because you're pushing away, then going back. It creates roller coaster results. So in my experience of guiding these for decades now, is what causes this? There's often a pattern from the past that is projected onto the present. An old belief from the past. Who remembers yesterday where Greg was saying, I don't wanna? Who remembers that? Who could feel that was deep? That's not just like I don't want to make a sales call. I mean, there was a deeper part of that. If you've had some breakthroughs on this teaching, put some B's, in the chats. Because from here, we're going to source the pattern to its root. We're going to source the pattern to its root. If I was to say to you all, sit up tall in your chair, elongate your spine, I'm going to ask you all a question. And I'm going to ask you to give me the first response that comes to mind. Just first response. If I was to ask you all, let me come over here and go a second. If I was to ask you all to point to the past, and you would point in any direction, where would you point? Just point to the past. And now point to the future. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to ask you one more time because I want to see the whole room. Point to the past, everybody. Where are you pointing, Onita? Let's see. Okay. Point to the future. So if you're looking from my perspective where I can see all of you, you can see people are pointing in different directions. Some of you are pointing behind you. Some of you are pointing in front of you. I'm looking at Bella. Bella's pointing to one side, then she's pointing to the other side. What is this illuminating? This is illuminating how you are storing time. Every experience you've ever had has been stored on a timeline that is outside of conscious awareness. Until you understand how to work with your timeline. This is very powerful. So, one of the things you're going to learn at Neo is how to communicate more effectively with your subconscious mind. If you've ever had the experience where a part of you wants to do something and a part of you doesn't, is that relatable? Part of me wants to make $1 million. Part of me wants to sleep until noon. And you feel split. Consciously, you want something. Subconsciously, there's not alignment. So one of the most liberating things you could do is bring this into alignment. Well, guess what? The subconscious mind, one of the teachings I'm going to go deep into at Neogenesis are its prime directives. I'm going to give you some of them now because they're relevant to this teaching. The subconscious mind is the storehouse of memories. All the memories you've ever had, whether you remember them or not, are stored subconsciously in some form of timeline. It's outside of conscious awareness until you understand how to work with it. I'm going to teach you how to work with it at Neogenesis. The subconscious mind is the domain of emotions. Have you ever consciously wanted to do something, but the emotion came over like fear, doubt? Consciously, you're like, I can do this. I can make this happen. But the overwhelm of anxiety, doubt, fear comes in. And you're like, this doesn't make sense. I should be able to do this. So the neocortex, your conscious mind is going, I should do this. But subconsciously, there's something deeper because the subconscious mind is the domain of emotions. That's why when we go to Neo, one of the very first things we guide is liberating disempowering emotions that have been clouding your vision, clouding your reason, clouding your purpose, your power. So a moment ago, I said to you, point to the past. And where did you point? Okay. And then I told you to point to the future. So you can imagine that your timeline implies a line, yes? And there's the future. And here's the moment of now. And here's the past. And here it is before you were 6. Have you had traumatic experiences? Who can relate to some traumatic experiences from the past? Or some very dark challenges that you've ended up just rising above because, hey, we got to go on with life and we got to go, get a job and we got to go, live our life. But deep down, there's something that you can be present to. I would not be doing this work had I not had trauma. Okay? And Neo, I will share with you the deepest traumas because we'll have more time and how I alchemize them. And then through that liberation, go, oh my gosh, I got to share this with others. So these early stages, before the age of 6, the earliest stages before your conscious mind could develop. When you were 2, when you were 3, where you were like that little sponge, right? The conscious mind had not developed. What were the impressions that were happening? Or even before you were born, in the womb, what was happening when you were in the womb? Or even before that, what was happening in your genealogy, in your ancestors? My parents immigrated from Cuba to the United States. What was happening? I had one gentleman that came to Neogenesis, and all of a sudden we're on day 3. Day 3 of Neogenesis, I'm guiding a deep timeline re-imprinting experience where you're fully conscious, and I'm guiding you to the root of whatever's been blocking you. You're in a fully conscious, like alpha theta state. You're allowing yourself to be guided in a totally safe cocoon of unconditional love. You're allowing yourself to be guided. All of a sudden, he's guided to this experience and boom, he has a memory that he had zero recall of this memory in his adult life until that moment. Why? Because one of the prime directives of the subconscious mind is it represses memories with negative emotion until you're ready to deal with it. That is actually a form of protection. The subconscious mind represses memories with negative emotion until you're ready to deal with it. And when you're ready to deal with it, guess what happens? It presents it for resolution. And that is precisely what is happening. A conscious container has been created. In that moment, your nervous system can relax. I'm in a safe space. There's only love here. There's zero judgment. Niurka cares about me. We're all present together. We're all here for a higher purpose. The nervous system relaxes. All of a sudden, the subconscious mind starts revealing things for resolution. but it's revealed in a new way. Because you are in an expanded state of awareness. That's where we bring you to. And all of a sudden you see with enlightened eyes, you see it through the wisdom of your highest self. You see through wisdom and understanding that allows the old pattern to dissolve. So in that moment, this man was in neogenesis, and we're on day 3, and we're guiding the entire group to the root of anger, to release anger. So on day 3, we guide releasing anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame, hurt. These are some of the primary emotions. Have you experienced hurt? That maybe you kind of push down, you're like, I'm not going to feel that, but deep down there's a part that's been hurt or sad or afraid. Okay? But we're not going to tell other people that, because we're just going to act as if, who can remember that whole personal development, or just act as if everything's just great. It's not real. So here's what happens. So this young man all of a sudden has a memory, and the memory is his dad's at work, and he's spending all day making this gift for his dad. And he can't wait for his dad to come home from work. So he's putting his heart into it, he's putting his soul into it, he's coloring, he's taping, he's doing arts and crafts, and he can't wait to give this precious gift to his father that he spent all day working on. And all of a sudden, the dad comes in from work, and he's in a bad mood, very dense, energetic state, and children feel the energy, yes? He walks into the room, and he goes to give his dad the gift, and his dad goes, leave me alone. I don't have time for this right now. I need to blow off some steam. Just go away and leave me alone. And his dad goes to the refrigerator, grabs a beer, opens the beer, sits in front of the TV, and starts watching television. And in that moment, this little boy who's like 4 or 5 years old is crushed. Crushed. So what emotions, give me some examples in the chats. What emotions do you think are present? What emotions? Maybe sadness. Maybe hurt. Okay. What are the emotions of a child? Sometimes rejection, that sounds maybe a little bit like a little bit of an older emotion. But for the child, what is the emotion for the child? Feeling hurt. Feeling like, and then from the emotion, if the child doesn't have a place to experience the emotion safely, the emotion becomes repressed. And in that moment, here's the distinction, my friends, and this could be a big breakthrough for you. If it is, I want to see it in the chats. As the emotion, right, this experience happens here at age 4 or 5, the emotion becomes repressed. A belief is formed and a decision is made in the mind of a child. So the belief may sound something like this: no matter what I do, it doesn't matter. No matter what I do, it's not enough. I don't matter. I'm not going to try so hard again. I'm not going to try so hard again because it doesn't matter anyways. Why would I try so hard if it doesn't matter? So in the language of a child, a belief is formed and a decision is made that then creates an impression that the child begins to see reality through. So now the next thing happens, but the child is bringing that pain into it. No matter what I do, it doesn't matter. No matter what I do, it doesn't matter. Who has some memories coming up about your own journey in light of this story? Guy, you're a graduate of Neo. Is Guy in the room? How was your experience? I'm curious because I know you had a major breakthrough while we were going through this timeline process. What would you say your journey was like before you came, and then the breakthrough that you had, and what changed after we went through this? And you've done this with me more than once. Many times more than once. As a matter of fact, Guy came as a student, and then he did the course several times. He came back and volunteered because he's had such a profound experience. I'd love for him to share. Go ahead.
Well, it's really interesting because the more I look back on it, has anybody ever felt a little bit off and you're just not sure what it is? And that's kind of what I was dealing with. I mean, I had a very successful career, but personally inside I was feeling a bit off. And I was looking for answers, and I signed up for Neogenesis.
And let me jump in real quick. When he said a very successful career, Guy was a fighter pilot in the Air Force. So he flew F-16s. Okay. I just wanted to jump that in because I think that's so cool. Go ahead.
Which is also a very egocentric world, right?
Okay.
So you kind of start living a life, maybe that is not as authentic as you really are. And that's what I mean by when I reflect back on it now, what I see is that I have become disconnected with my true I am, that thing deeper than the core values that you were mentioning in that diagram. And through this process of neogenesis, in just what was it, 3-4 days,
4 days.
I fell in love with myself again. When you fall in love with yourself, if you have any disconnection with your true identity, your true I am, how can you be truly joyful? And that's what came to a realization for me. All of a sudden, I had this new beginning, but I didn't necessarily understand it at the time. But I mean, that was 12 years ago. And as I reflect back on it, what I came to realize is that, we're born as that happy baby. We're born in love. There is no disconnection from the I am. And then as you start growing and you start going through these significant emotional events or things that happen, each one of those starts to maybe disconnect yourself a little bit from who you are. I'm not good enough. I'm not being seen, whatever it might be. But when you fall back in love with yourself, when you get that connection, everything changes. You cannot see the world the same way as you did before you started Neogenesis. And that is exactly what happened to me. And my life has been one heck of a lot of joy ever since.
I remember your playfulness because I remember the day I met Guy. I met Guy at a keynote presentation I did in Texas, and then he came to an event we did, and I remember sharing about these experiences. And he got the mic, and he was like, he got intense with me. This was his very first event with me. He was like, "You better prove it to me, girl, because I've done everything and it hasn't worked yet." I don't know if you remember that when you said that to
everybody
me.
around me jumped.
And he was just in this place where he felt. Anyone ever felt like that, where you're like, I've done all these things, but like it hasn't had that ultimate breakthrough? But he showed up, and at the time we were doing Neogenesis in Sedona, Arizona, and him and his beautiful wife Elka's in the room too, and they both came down to Neogenesis and had profound breakthroughs. And the main thing I remember from you in Sedona is you looked different. Like you came in like with whatever you were navigating, and all of a sudden there was this playfulness that happened, like a playful, present energy. Give Guy some love. Awesome. Okay, since you're the goddess over there, any final thought you want to say about your Neogenesis experience to get the wife's perspective? Okay.
Oh, that's funny because when we did the Neogenesis at first, for me, it was like, wow, where have I landed? Really. And then
What changed? What was happening in the past, and then what changed, and what became better since?
For me, it truly is the awareness and how to deal with things, and that things would, no matter what comes, it's okay. And that is huge because life hits you. It's not because honestly, when we came to this course, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this thing, check off. Oh, and I'm a different person. Oh, heck no. It's like the gym. You have to do the work because life comes at you and you will get things thrown at you. And that's when that little light goes on. Wait a minute. That's not the truth. This is my truth. And so it's a constant awareness and a reminder. And that's what's huge because that's life.
That's life. I love how you say it's a practice. And Elka, now they've been in our community. We've been together for over a decade. We've been present with Elka as she's navigated an immense amount of loss in her life, like unexpected loss in family and loved ones, like back to back. So like Elka says, we don't know what life brings us. And as life brings us this to know there's a place, there's this community, there's this space where we have something that is aligned, authentic, true, that we always come back to, like the truth of who I am, the truth of and falling in love with ourselves. Is there another level of loving you? Is there a deeper level in which you can be present and loving yourself that would make a difference? Give Elka some love. Give Guy some love. So here's what's going to happen at Neo. On day one, we're going to set the stage for transformation. On day 2, I'm going to guide you through a process to elicit the core values that have been driving your life up until now in the area that you picked. So let's say you picked finances. Let's say you picked your health. There are values and identity that's been driving your life. Day 2 is a full cathartic process where I'm going to guide you to elicit those values, that identity. We're going to bring it out of the shadows and into the light. That in and of itself is healing, because here's what you will realize. If you've been getting roller coaster results, you'll realize that you've had conflicting values. In other words, values that cause you to take one step forward, but another value, like I'm here to make a big impact. What if it doesn't work? People have mind-blowing breakthroughs when they realize that they've been valuing staying safe. They've been saying success, but by their actions and results, they've been valuing not getting hurt. This is a mind-blowing breakthrough. So day two, we guide you to elicit the core values that have been driving your life up until now. Very cathartic process. You're going to end up with all these pages, literally, like pages and pages and pages of core values and identities that have been driving your life up until that point. Then we're going to have a fire ceremony. If you're doing the virtual one, which happens in November, we're going to have a fire ceremony with people all around the world. You're just going to go burn those into the fires of transformation. If you're with us in Cancun, which I highly recommend, we're going to go to the beach together on the sand, take off our shoes, and we're going to have a fire ceremony. We're going to take all those old values, that is the old self, the dissolution, and just like the mythical phoenix right there on the ocean together, we're going to build that sacred fire. And in ceremony, just like Scott said, gathering the fire, he spoke it into existence. So that, we've been gathering around the fire since the beginning of human story. It is a very powerful ceremony to come together around the fire. We come together around the fire with a shared intention. We come together around the fire, releasing the old patterns, releasing the old ways of thinking and being, and witnessing. How many of you have noticed that every ceremony has a witness? Yes? Now we're in a sacred circle, witnessing the truth of each other, witnessing the old patterns dissolving. Then the next morning we go, for those of us that are in Cancun, when we do it in Cancun, we go on a water. Actually, we do that one on day 4. The next day, what we do is we go into the timeline re-imprinting process, this timeline process. And with new awareness, seeing through enlightened eyes, seeing through the vision of your high self, I will guide you every step of the way, lovingly, okay? Tenderly guide you all the way there. You're going to experience this with a new way. Here's what's going to happen, my friends. I assure you, you will see this in a whole new way. You're going to experience it through the highest light that is you. Here's what will happen. You will gather insights, awareness, new distinctions, and learnings that will integrate in that moment that allow the old pattern to dissolve. And you will feel the liberation of that. We start by releasing anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame. We'll guide you every step of the way. Then we go into a water ceremony. You see, this is all very consciously created. We have the fire ceremony to release and burn into the fire. Then we have a water ceremony. It's a purifying ceremony. If you're doing it virtual, you're going to go take a bath with salt water. Okay. If you're coming with us in person, which we highly recommend, we're literally going to the underground caves. Who knows that there's these magical underground caves in Cancun? They're called the cenotes. They're these magical underground caves where you go into an underground cave and part of it is dark. You can't even see. So the experience mirrors your transformational journey. Why? So it's an embodied knowing. Because when you're in that water going through the experience, it's not just your mind, you're fully immersed. And then we guide the timeline process to release Anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame, the limiting belief, the limiting decision, and you pop out the other end going, what in the world just happened? Transformation has occurred. Some of you may have seen, because I wrote it in the emails when we were inviting you to this experience. Did you hear the story of Gwen, who was the beautiful woman who had a pattern for over 10 years that she had to pick between her children's well-being and her own? Who saw that video? Did you guys see the videos? We're sending you stuff to make sure that you're... Okay, so Gwen is this beautiful, amazing... matter of fact, she just signed up. She's coming again for a revisit, and she's been several times. She had a pattern where she would continually put her children's needs before her own. And it wasn't serving either of them. So she broke free of that pattern. But now I'm going to show you a video because a lot of times people ask us this question. They say, what's the difference between Sia and Neo? Are you starting to get the difference just based on the shares? Sia's going to give you a lot of tools and techniques. Neo's going to go all the way to the root. Let me share with you this one case study of Gwen, this beautiful, amazing woman in our community, so you could hear from her, she's a graduate several times over, of what the difference is between these two impactful transformational experiences. And when you do them both, they amplify because they're complementary and they go together. So listen to Gwen's experience. Did you share just a little bit about just the difference between Sia and Neo? And I know you've graduated through both of them and you've been to it more than once. How many times have you been to Neo?
3 times.
Okay.
And my third Sia. And I'll just preface this by saying the first time that I went to one of Niurka's courses, I thought, who are these people that need to go more than once? Like, I really did. I'm like, I don't know what's up with them. Like, who has the time, the money to like repeat it? And here I am being like 3rd time for each. And I plan to go again. I experience Sia as being transformational, but also a bit more cerebral. Like, it's a bit more intellectual. There's more of the tools for communication. Here are the strategies, here are the scripts. Do you want to learn them? This is how you do it. That's Sia. And it's cool and it's transformational and it's powerful. And for me, it was a lifeline when I needed it. Neo is more personally transformative. It's not so much like, okay, I'm learning this script. Can I teach this? Can I lead someone? It's not that thing. It's over here, and it is a profound personal experience of transformation. Neo is where you drop down and you go into the deeper parts of your mind that you didn't even know were forming you. And the whole experience is very deep, it's very profound, and you pop out the other end. Niurka gives this amazing opportunity near the beginning of Neo and near the end of Neo to kind of pull up what your values are that are driving you in the specific area of your life. So for me, it was my relationship with myself the first time. I mean, the values at the beginning, you re-elicit themselves for yourself at the end, and they have changed. And I remember the first time being like, what is going on? Like, how did something change so deeply inside of me that my values have elevated like that in 3-4 days in an entire area of my life?
Very powerful. And Gwen actually she's coming to Cancun. She just registered again for the 4th time based on her experience. And amazing woman. She's actually now doing hypnotherapy with clients herself. So very, very powerful. So did you guys get the distinction? So let me share with you, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share with you a little bit about the difference of Sia and Neo. Then I'd love to take any questions about those. And then I'm gonna share with you some very special things that we've put together today, plus some fast action bonuses that we've put together to inspire you to come and join us and take fast action, because action is where the secret sauce is. Action is the difference that makes the difference. So here's the 2 experiences that we have. And in a moment, I'm gonna give you the details, but as a reminder from yesterday, we have Sia that is coming up next month. And when you do Sia, you're even more powerfully prepared for Neo. So you can do Neo first or you can do Sia first. But when you do them together, they amplify the result. So Sia is live virtual just like this. We go from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You're going to get, like I said, the questionnaires. You're going to get the, I went through that one yesterday. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. I will stick around to ask questions, but the questionnaire, the replays, the entire experience. Neo, let's talk about that one right now. you have two options. You could come actually you have three options. You could come virtual, you can come live, or you could come both, virtual and live. There's several in the room that are coming virtual and live. Andy, I'm thrilled you're coming virtual and live. So virtual is November 5th through the 8th. And live is February 18th through the 21st. Doing them both back to back is very powerful because you can pick two different areas of your life. You could come the first one to focus on health. You could come the second one to focus on finances. Okay, so you could come with a different focus and get a completely different experience. So here's just a little glimpse, and this is more of an overview because there's more that you receive than we can put on a slide. But just to give you some of the distinctions of the difference between SIA and NEO. So SIA is going to give you tools, techniques, transformational processes to overcome disempowering states, disempowering behaviors, disempowering habits, self-doubt, procrastination, overwhelm. SIA gives you the most tools to dissolve anything that's been not working for you that's context specific. Like I'm afraid to make sales calls. I'm afraid to speak on stages. Can you see that's context specific? The NEO is going to go all the way to the root. Okay, where is this fear originating? Where is this sense of not being enough originating? So SIA is going to guide you to neutralize any triggers. If anything is triggering disempowering response, you're going to walk out of SIA neutral with tools. It's going to guide you to transform limiting beliefs. It's going to guide you. Another big piece of SIA is communication. So it's going to guide you to communicate more effectively than ever before. Tap into empowering states. I'm saying some things that aren't even on this slide because there's so many things you're going to receive, okay? How to build instant rapport with everyone or with anyone anytime. How valuable would that be to have the tools to walk into any room and create instant rapport with anyone anytime? To be able to truly read a room, to be able to authentically connect with people regardless of where they're coming from, to communicate in a way that speaks into people's listening and inspires action. So SIA is going to guide you to communicate more effectively, not only with others, more effectively with yourself. Okay? It's going to guide you and empower you to lead in whichever area of your life is most important to you, in your lead in your family, lead in your business with genuine authority and impact in a way that creates results. NEO, like Gwen was saying, goes to the root. So NEO is going to go to the root of whatever's blocking you at the deepest level in your nervous system, in your subconscious, whatever has kept a pattern. Sometimes what happens is people are wanting to release a pattern, but there's other things that are keeping the pattern in place. You got that? So consciously, they're like, okay, I can release the pattern, but there's something else that's holding the pattern intact. And sometimes it's more than one thing holding the pattern intact. There's this multi-dimensional dynamic that is holding the pattern intact. That's where NEO comes in. So NEO is going to go to the root of negative emotions, limiting beliefs, disempowering decisions, deactivating limiting beliefs and disempowering decisions, like I don't want to. Clear the energy of these old kleshas, okay? Anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame that we've talked about, and then align your values with your true purpose and highest calling. You will leave NEO feeling lighter, clearer, and more aligned with direction. You literally leave NEO with your authentic core values articulated and written in a way that's embodied and real. And let me tell you why that's so important. Because your values drive decision making. And your values are like your inner compass. And when you make better decisions, you get better results. So all of a sudden, as a natural action, without even trying, your authentic values emerge and realign in a way that empowers you to make better, wiser decisions. So NEO, like I said, we've got the in-person experience and then we've got the virtual, but in person here, I don't know if you guys can see it because I think my thing is getting cut off at the bottom for some reason. This slide is getting cut off. You can't see the caves, but it's beautiful that we're together in person. On the beach. So let me share with you what we've put together special for you, and then I'll take any questions specifically. And we have countless case studies and success stories. Like, for example, this is Rebecca. When I met Rebecca, she said that she was feeling a lot of negative emotions and that Neo guided her to release built up negative feelings and emotions that allowed her to let go and live in her true power with love. Within 1 year of graduating Neo, she quadrupled her business. She became the #1 producing real estate agent in her Los Angeles office. Is that huge, you guys? Quadrupled her business. And it was a result not just of going and getting like more sales training. It was a result of releasing what had been blocking her mentally, emotionally, energetically. I'll show you one other case study and then I'll share with you what we put together today and then we'll take questions. Here's Carolyn Griffin. She's a chiropractor. She says, Neogenesis was an integral part of my chiropractic business, allowed me to let go of issues clouding my mind. We could relate to that, having issues clouding the mind. So since she graduated Neo, she opened a second chiropractic office, and then she started another business helping people overcome gut issues. She's a very successful entrepreneur. Now her kids have become chiropractors. And she says this would have never happened if it wasn't for the massive breakthroughs she experienced at Neo. And when you look at her, it's not just massive breakthroughs in business. This is all about living the full spectrum of joy in your life. She has this amazing relationship with her beloved husband. She has a total deep connection with her kids. Both her kids followed in her footsteps and have become chiropractors. And then look at her with her business about helping people with gut health. So this is about success in every area of life in a way that makes a meaningful contribution. How cool is that? Like Mino was saying, joy in all these areas of life. Yes? Awesome. So here's what we've put together. Before I share with you the special offer, is there any specific question about the content or the transformational experience of Neo while I'm pulling up what we have for you? If you have any questions about what you're going to receive or the difference between Sia and Neo, you could raise your hand emoji because I would love to make sure that I respond to all of those questions. And then let me share with you what we have, and then we'll see if there's any other graduates in the room that might want to share about their epic journey. Okay, so here is what we have, and in a moment the team is going to drop the link, so you have the link. So when you come here, you're going to see these are special offers exclusively for you in the Belief Matrix. We have Sia, which we talked about yesterday, which I'm happy to answer any questions on, and then we have Neogenesis right here. And Neo, you could do 2026 or 2027. So when we click here, we're going to land on the Neo page. And here's what you receive. It's creating a new beginning, my friends. It's the journey of the Phoenix. It's 4 days to dissolve whatever's been blocking you and activate and step into your highest potential. So the virtual is happening November 5th through 8th. In person in Cancun, February 18th through the 21st. If you could do both, even better. So here's what you're going to receive. Let's start with the virtual because the live gives you everything the virtual does plus. Got that? So with the live, you get everything in the virtual plus the live stuff. So here's what you get. 4 days, total immersion, transformational experience. Confidential questionnaire goes directly to me. I sit in devotion, tuning in to where you are, what's worked, what hasn't worked. So we arrive, you arrive, I'm preparing for your arrival. I'm already with you in consciousness. I'm already seeing your desired outcome happening. I'm tuning into the vision and the intention that you're arriving with to ensure that it's fulfilled even greater than you can imagine. Then we're guiding you through the experience every step of the way. Okay. So I've already shared that with you, guiding you to elicit the old values, guiding you through the timeline therapy process. You're going to receive a detailed manual. Here it is. And actually, if you've been to Neo before, you're going to be very excited because the manual has been completely updated. So you're going to get a brand new manual for Neo that guides you through the entire experience. You're going to get a dashboard that has all of your assets in that experience. There's no replays because this course is so deep, so intimate, so profoundly transformational that we don't offer recordings, okay? So you also earn hours towards your certification, if that's important to you, for those of you that want to become certified. So the investment for Neo The investment for Neo, I'm showing this to you here, and it's the investment for Neo virtual is over $7,000 when you look at everything. The special offer, exclusive for you, is over half off. It's only $24.97. $2,497. And I know that when I was showing you guys that, you were seeing the pricing of the live and the virtual, so I want to make sure that wasn't confusing. Let me start with the virtual, okay? The virtual, the value is over $7,000. The investment is only $24.97. $24.97. When you click the link, let me pull this up. When you click the link to register, let me see where that is. You will also see, oh, am I still sharing? Was I still sharing? I wasn't sure if I was still sharing. When you click the link for virtual, you land here. It's only 7,000, it's the retail, is over 7,000. The investment when you take action now is only $24.97. And we also offer installment plans if that supports you. Now, here's the awesome news. Take action by midnight tonight. And we have a fast action bonus. You get to bring a guest with you that is new to the community. This is the way that we support the expansion of the work. You get to be the giver. So when you take action by midnight tonight, you get to gift this gift of transformation. The other thing I'm going to do, because I love rewarding action, that's where the magic happens. The first 3 people who take action today, I'm going to give you an autographed copy of the first edition of my book. I'm going to write a little love note in there for you, and my team is going to ship it out to you, and you're going to get, first 3 people are going to get an autographed copy of the first edition of my book, Supreme Influence, which, by the way, is out of print. Okay? So at some point, we will be creating a new edition, but right now, this is the original edition. Now, how many of you are in the place like me where virtual is awesome and it would be even better to come live? Where we're like, hey, who's in that place? Let me just get a vibe on the room. Who's more a virtual vibe? You're like, virtual is more where I'm at right now. Let me just feel everybody. And just whichever one comes to mind for you first, share with me. I'd love to know what that is. Who's virtual is what resonates most right now. Let me see. I know Roberta's raising her hand. She's in Italy. Bailey's raising her hand. How about the rest of you? Okay, Linda's... who's more like in person? I want to go on the beach with my shoes off, in the ocean. I want to go into the underground caves. Okay, so wherever you are, the most important thing is to take the next step. So here's what you receive in the in-person in Cancun. And then I'll take questions. You're going to receive everything from the virtual. It's going to be 4 days, transformational experience. You're going to get the manual. You're going to get the questionnaire. You're going to get it physical when you come live. You're going to get a printed version. Here's the other things that you receive and why coming, let me come out of that page, excuse me, and why coming live would be the ultimate experience that I highly recommend, or both, okay? So with the in-person, you're going to get everything here, the confidential questionnaire, the manual, all of that, plus you get meals and accommodations included for 5 days and 6 nights. So 5 days, meals and accommodations included, okay? Excuse me, 5 nights, 6 days. 5 nights, 6 days. We have double occupancy and single occupancy options. So double occupancy and single, you can make some new friends and share double occupancy. There's a fire ceremony that's included, the water ceremony, all of this is included. The investment for the entire experience, double occupancy. This includes Neo. This includes all of your meals. This includes 5 nights and 6 days accommodation. This includes the field trip to the caves. This includes everything. The investment, all inclusive, doesn't include your airfare, that's it, is $39.97. That's it. $39.97 all inclusive. When you take action by midnight tonight, you get to bring a guest. If you don't know who the guest is, you'll figure it out in the next few months. Somebody's going to come and you're going to get to bless that person. Melissa Torrey, where are you? Are you in the room? Melissa, there you are. Someone gave you a gift ticket. That's how you came. You came into this experience because someone gifted you. Am I right?
Yes, I was gifted a ticket to SIA last year.
And tell me about that. Like, where was life like before? Then they gifted this to you. What changed? How was that gift? How was that gift? Let's
The
just
gift was
say that.
incredible. The gift was absolutely incredible. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting myself into. I just was open to whatever it was. So I can't wait to do it again next month. But from that led me to Neo, and I was all in on Neo, and that was absolutely life-changing.
I love this.
1,000,000,000% life-changing.
1,000,000,000% life-changing. And she came to our community because someone gave her the gift. And she didn't know what she was getting into. And it's like, whoa. And here we are. Can you all feel the power of the community that is present here? Melissa, give her some love. I'm so thrilled they gave you that gift.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled they gave you that gift. So right now, and then I'll open it up for questions. Who's feeling it in their heart and soul and you'd love to come? You can tell that this will be a powerful experience for you. Obviously you do because you're here. Otherwise you would have bounced a long time ago, yes? Take action. The team's going to drop the link. Click that link right now, okay? Fill it out. Put your name, put your information, put your credit card number. Do it right now. You have nothing to lose except what's been blocking you. This event is 100% guaranteed. Why do I do 100% guaranteed? Because I know for a fact what you'll receive from it. I want to remove any concern. What does that mean? Come to the experience. Come to Neo. Come to SIA. Come to Cancun. If at the end of day 3, it's a 4-day experience. If at the end of day 3, you have not gotten your value's worth, you go to the back of the room and we will refund you. Okay? We do that because we believe so much in what we know this can do for you. For the Cancun, we refund everything except meals and accommodations, but that's never happened. We've never had anybody refund. Okay? It's been that powerful. But we offer that. Why? To release or remove any doubt. So the team's going to drop the link. First 3 people who take action right now are going to get an autographed copy of Supreme Influence First Edition. This is a defining moment. As Mina described, people describe their life before SIA and after SIA. It's that significant. This is a defining moment. I believe your life will be different if you come versus if you don't. Okay? A doorway, a portal will open up for you greater than you can imagine. And I'm going to be right there to meet you, to welcome you, and to go step by step together to the ultimate breakthrough, the liberation of the old patterns and the rising into the next stage of your growth, your impact, like the phoenix. All right, beautiful ones. Who's fired up? Let's do this. There's only so much we're able to accomplish in 2 hours. Who's already coming? Who's already registered for SIA and Neo? Let me see. Andy's coming, and he took action. He registered for it. He's going to be his first Neo, and he's doing both of them. He's doing virtual and live. Andy, I can't wait to be with you. I'll be giving you a big old hug over here. It's going to be major breakthrough. Helen's coming. Who else is coming? Margaret, Alana, Melissa. Who else is already registered? Look, this is your community, friends. Linda's coming. Tracy's coming. All right, beautiful ones. Any questions? There's no silly questions right now. I want to make sure that you ask whatever's most important for you to ask about the experience. Let's do this. Let's just take questions first about SIA or Neo. Make sure you're clear so you can make the most empowered decision for you. And then I'll take any other questions about the experience because some of you might want to know the 3 reasons relationships fail. I think I planted that seed a while ago. Okay. So questions about the experience. I see Bernadine. Questions?
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
About Thea. Are you doing it also live? um, in person, I mean, in July?
No, this one
No,
is
okay.
virtual.
Virtual.
And
Okay.
yeah, yes, we're not doing this SIA live, not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. It's not on the calendar and not next year either. Next year, we're only doing 2 live in-person events. We're doing Neogenesis in February. And then
Right.
I'm taking a group on an epic adventure of a lifetime to Bali, Indonesia on a 9-day
Yeah, I'm thinking
spiritual
about that.
adventure. Yeah.
I'm
So
thinking
I'm
about
doing,
Bali, but we'll see.
yeah, those are the 2 live. So here's the thing, I'm committed to bring live events in because with everything happening in the world, you know, with AI and just
Yeah.
the acceleration, I think us being together, who agrees with that? I'm curious, like community being together is going to be very important, especially in this new world. Important for our mental health too, important just for our well-being. So, and they work well together. Doing the virtual and the live. The other thing you're going to get, my friends, is when you take action now, with Neo, let me go back to this because I got a few bonuses I didn't mention. I want to make sure you guys got all the bonuses, okay? And then I'll take more questions. So take action with Neo. You're going to get 3 months free in the Alliance. You're going to get 3 months free in the membership. The cool thing about the membership is that we're getting together for an hour every single week. So that keeps the whole conversation going. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do another fast action bonus. If you do Sia and Neo together, I'll give you a year of the membership free. How about that? How much is that? The team will drop the link for the retail on that. If you do both, Sia and Neo, Helen, are you nodding your head? You're going, that's too good, huh? Is that, I see you, Helen, right? Helen, how's been your experience? Would you like to share either about Sia or Neo, whichever one made the biggest impact for you if you were to just pick one?
Just the alliance as well, and staying and learning every month that there's a different theme, and then you can, if you can't make it, you do the you can watch the recording, and I'm so looking forward to see it because the first time I did it, there was a lot of information and I wasn't properly prepared because I was at work and then I took a couple of days off and straight back into work. But this time I'm focusing fully on it to learn and retake in the information. And the monthly alliance helps with remembering all the different concepts because repetition is.
I love that. Yeah. And just like Helen is sharing, you want to clear your schedule. You don't, this is not a place to multitask. I'm so thrilled that you've created those conditions. So, and you've been showing up consistently to the membership. So I love that. So what would you share to someone who's never experienced the membership? What would you say to them about it?
It's just, it's just a community, first of all, and your teachings, it just seems, and I think everyone else can agree with this, the monthly themes seem to be so relevant at the time that we need it right now. So when we went through and we had Michael back with, and we have special teachings, but everything, the decluttering, and then we went into the next month and the next month, but everything seemed to be exactly the right thing at the right time that we needed to hear and learn and going, okay, great. And then it builds up on it as well.
I love that. So what the membership is doing, the membership has a new theme every month. And it's easy. The membership is easy. It's just 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week is easy, right? But what it does is it keeps you plugged in. It keeps you in that conversation and community. It keeps you having that reflection and accountability to make a big impact. So when you take action on Neo, when you take action right now, the team will drop the link. You get 3 months free on the membership. It's normally $147 a month. When you take action on Sia, you get 3 months of the membership. But if you do both, you're going to get a year on the membership. How cool is that? A full-on year. That means we're on a journey together for a year. Can you all see the power of that? Like here we are today, the belief matrix. Next month, we've got Sia. We're on a journey. Now we've got the monthly membership every month. We have the vision and excitement and enthusiasm knowing Neo is coming. It's a year-long journey, and I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And the final fast action bonus reminder, and then we'll see if there's any other questions in the room, is take action by midnight tonight, and you get this extra gift to bring a guest. So here's the deal, my dear friends. I know we're a few minutes over. I want to thank you for sticking around. I actually lost track of time for a second because I was so present with you all. I'm going to share one final case study and then we'll wrap up the room and my team and I will stick around to answer any questions. How about that? Okay, and then I see Scott has a question. Let me share one final case study and then I'll take Scott's question and we will wrap up today's session. It has been such an incredible joy to be here with you. This person and this case study I'm really inspired to share because I met Don when I was on tour with Tony Robbins. And he was walking out the door and he was not going to sign up. And I caught him right at the doorway. And I looked at him and I go, "Are you joining us?" And he said to me, "No, because I've signed up for a whole block of Tony Robbins courses. So I just got too many things on my plate. I'm going to all of Tony's courses, so I'm not going." So I sat with him and I explained to him what's different. And I explained to him that he was going to be in a sea of thousands of people at Tony's course, but this was going to be an opportunity for him to go really deep and be met in a deep way. Let me share with you a quick case study so you see what he shares about his NEO experience. And then we will bring today's session to a beautiful completion. And I want you to really tune in to the soul of what he's sharing, of what his life would have looked like if he didn't go. Because like Mina says, I've heard Mina say this before, you don't know what you don't know. Okay, you don't know what you don't know. And then you come and you go, whoa, I didn't know that I didn't even know this. That's the level of breakthrough. So final case study of the day. Here we go.
My experience has been amazing. So I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan. I bought his book, Unlimited Power, when I was 19 and followed Tony for years. And I went to Vancouver for the one-day event and Niurka spoke for about 45 minutes. And I bought tickets for her one-day event. So I brought my kids and my kids absolutely loved it. They wanted to go to both NEO and SIA. So they'll be going this year. NEO was a huge breakthrough for me. It got to the underlying causes of what was going on, like deep down. I just had breakthrough after breakthrough. I went to SIA shortly thereafter, and I've implemented all those tools into my business. It's just been absolutely incredible. So, I mean, my investment probably come back about 300 plus times from the courses. You can't put into words. Your events are by far the best I've ever been to. I've been to ESI, I've been to Hoffman, I've been to all of Tony's events. Niurka plays full out, 1,000%. And you know, one of the biggest things, like, you know, we invest in our cars, we invest in so many other things. When's the last time you invested in yourself? And make that investment. I can't imagine what my life would be like if we hadn't stopped and I hadn't decided to go to the course. And I had actually booked another full block of Tony courses. And, you know, I just knew I had to be there, completely transform my life. And so make that investment in yourself, your kids, your family, whatever you can do. It's a community. The friends around the room here, like lifetime friends, you can't even put it into words. You got to do it. My experience is
so heartfelt. Can you feel the depth of the emotion? I'm going, I can't even imagine what my life would feel like if I hadn't done this. And that's the thing, is you can't imagine. You got to do it. Just like he said, you got to come. It will change your life. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Team will drop the link. If you have any questions, stick around. And with love in my heart, how was your belief matrix experience, my dear friends? How was this weekend? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to stick around to answer your questions. The VIPs, we have a special VIP segment on Tuesday. Okay, VIPs are coming back for a breakthrough integration session, Q&A, hands-on coaching. If you're not in the VIP room yet, it's only $97. The team will drop the link so you can join us. You'll also get the replays from this weekend, and you'll get the soul workbook. Okay, so you can review that. The next step, though, is SIA and NEO. The most important thing is pick one. Pick one. If you want to go all the way to the depth, go to NEO. If you want all the tools, come to SIA. If you're ready to amplify both, do both. I can't wait to be with you. Okay? It's an honor to serve you. It's a joy to be in your presence. With love in my heart, I'm declaring the Belief Matrix 2026 is complete And I will stick around right now with my team just to make sure that your questions are answered. I want to make sure that if you're feeling the pull, feeling the calling, but you've got some questions, we get those answered so you make the best empowered decision for you. All right, beautiful ones. Go ahead and unmute
Please
yourself
don't
so
go
we hear
yet.
your
You didn't
beautiful
answer the
voices.
question.
I'm sorry?
Don't go yet. You didn't tell us the question, the 3 things about relationship.
So good of you, Bernadine. So good of you. What was it? The 3 things that cause relationships to fail. Is that
I
the
wasn't
one?
going to let you off the hook. Sorry.
I love that. I love that. You can always keep me
Yes,
on the hook. I'm right here with
that's
you.
the one.
Okay, so that's what Scott was like raising his hand going, wait a minute, I'm not gonna, okay, what's I was wondering what you were telling me with your 3 fingers. So the 3 things that cause relationships to fail. The first is incongruence in core values. We talked about that one a moment ago. What happens when 2 people meet, there's a lot of novelty, right? So it's fresh, it's new. And what ends up happening is they sometimes are not as tuned into what is most important to me in life. What's most important to this person in life. And then later over time, they find out one person's all about adventure and freedom, and the other person's all about comfort and security. Or sometimes a relationship happens and then core values grow apart over time. People change, they start valuing different things. The second one is negative anchors. Negative anchors. Let's say that your spouse has a bad day at work and then they come home and they see you. They have a bad day at work, they come home and see you, bad day, come home and see you. After a while, there's a neuro association created. It's called an anchor. Let's say, for example, that somebody goes out to dinner and they have a glass of wine and they argue, have a glass of wine and they argue, have a glass of wine and they argue. After a while, the glass of wine comes to the table and the predictive brain is predicting arguing. So negative anchors kill relationships. Negative anchors. For example, if the partner is very critical, always criticizing, after a while, the partner anchors, this is just criticism, kills the relationship. Who's been in one of those? Okay, so negative anchors. The cool thing about SIA is SIA guides you to dissolve negative anchors. SIA will teach you specifically how to dissolve negative anchors. You even get a script on it. Here's the way I teach at SIA, which is so cool, which is what empowers integration. We didn't have time to do it here because we only have 2 hours. Can you guys tell I got a lot more to share than 2 hours allows? Okay, who can tell? I got a lot more to share than 2 hours allows. So here's what happens at SIA. I'll say, who in the room has a negative anchor that they're ready to experience for the last time? What's a negative anchor? Might be with another person, might be in the context of business. Anybody can tune into a negative anchor where something triggers you negatively. So what I do at SIA is I teach how to dissolve negative anchors. I will guide a live demonstration where I'll say who in the room has a negative anchor they'd like to experience for the last time. I will bring you up. I will guide a live demonstration. Then I will teach you how to do it. I will give you scripts, step by step, which, by the way, I have simplified and improved every single script that exists in NLP, okay? So when I first got started in NLP, you'd have to swim through all these gargantuous scripts that had extra, I have been like, okay, how do we make this the most efficient and most elegant and most direct path to breakthrough and transformation? So the scripts you receive from us are totally different than you'll get in any other NLP academy or institute on planet Earth. Then I guide you through the scripts. You get to keep the scripts forever. They're going to be there in your soul workbook or your manual, and your dashboard. So then I guide you through the scripts so you learn it. Who learns more by doing? Where you're like, who learns by watching? Who learns by watching? If I could see you do it, I start to learn. Who learns by doing? Like you need to know the beginning, middle, and end. You're like, okay, what are the steps? What's the ABCDs of this? So you first learn by watching. I guide the experience. I teach it. I give you the script, simplified, elegant script, direct to breakthrough. We go through the script together. Then you have an opportunity to practice in breakout rooms. Now, what happens when you're actually practicing? Now you're embodying it. You're not just learning it. We didn't have the time to do that here because we only have 2 hours in this segment. But how powerful is it when you take the technique, you've experienced it, I've guided you, I've guided a demonstration. Now you're going into breakout rooms with others who all have the script. We're all there for a shared purpose. We're all in the sandbox of transformation. We're learning here together. You go through the script. They guide you. You guide them. You switch. You give each other feedback. We teach you exactly how to do it. There's no failure, only feedback, because we're in the sandbox of transformation together. Then we debrief it. This way of teaching ensures integration, because you see it, you hear it, you feel it, you do it, you practice it, it integrates. Then you sleep on it. Then you come back the next day. It is consciously created step by step for an ultimate breakthrough. Scott, I saw your hand go up. Question.
Yes, I heard 1 and 2. I didn't hear the third reason.
Oh, thank you. By the way, that's called an open loop. Okay.
Okay.
So,
and then the second part is for if I'm a repeat for Sia, which I would be,
yay.
Is the 770, whatever that price is.
777.
Does that allow me to bring a guest partner?
Yes, that's new to the community. Is that the ultimate deal or what? So
Great.
when you revisit, we're all about taking care of our graduates and revisits. So if you're new, by the way, after you do it, you'll become a revisit. Okay. So when you revisit, you could come for the revisit investment and you get to bring a guest that's new to the community. That means they've never been in our database. So, you know, if they've been in our database, it doesn't count. It's a one-time gift that's allowed. Okay. Super amazing. So yes, we encourage all the revisits to come. So the 3 reasons that cause relationships to fail: incongruence in core values, negative anchors, unfulfilled love strategies. Unfulfilled love strategies. What does that mean? When you first meet someone, you're like firing off on what NLP calls all the modalities. What does that mean? You look at them a certain way. You talk at, you look at them a certain way. You touch them a certain way. You speak to them in a certain tone of voice. In other words, there's certain visual, auditory, kinesthetic cues that you fire off. Does that make sense when I say fire off? That you're like, when you first meet someone. How many of you, in order for you to feel love, your partner has to look at you a certain way? Anybody have to get the look? Who, in order for you to feel love, you got to be touched a certain way. Like it's important for you to be touched a certain way for you to feel love. Who, for you to feel love, you need to be spoken to a certain way. You need to hear certain things said to you. Okay. Who needs to hear certain things for you to feel love from another person? You need to hear certain things, maybe a particular tone. So you see, so what happens when you first meet someone, they're firing off on all of them. They look at you a certain way, they talk to you a certain way, they touch you a certain way. Then over time, people go back to their old patterns. Matter of fact, one of the things you're going to be learning at SIA is a lot of how these patterns show up. So for example, a family therapist, brilliant family therapist that was modeled Virginia Satir, often had couples come in and the wife would say, "I don't feel loved." The husband would say, "No matter what I and show her, she doesn't see it. I show her all the time, she doesn't see it." And she says, "I just don't feel it." Who got those distinctions? He's trying to show her visually. She's not feeling it. There's a mismatch in how they're representing love. We go deep into that at SIA. So you make sure you do. You can recognize if there's something missing, and then you can bring it to the table. All right.
Thank you.
Scott, I'm intending you come and bring some new people, some loved ones. All right, everyone. So we're getting ready to close out the room, but I do want to stick around. If you have any questions about SIA or about Neo, now would be the time to share. Margarita, you're a graduate of SIA. How was your experience at SIA? Because your business has grown, your whole, since there's a few people sticking around, let's see if we have just a couple more shares.
Well, oh my goodness, let me unblock myself. I mean, I've been with you for about 14 years now, and I've been through so many phases of my life. And I came with you. I had one business that I had for like 25 years, and now I have more than one business. And my daughter's graduating. I didn't have a daughter, and then I did have a daughter, and well, I probably had a daughter, but she was a lot smaller. So now she's big and going to college.
So what's shifted though? I've seen so much transformation in you for the first time you came. Like, I don't know if you could go far back and go, where were you? And then you've been to SIA, you've been a graduate of NEO. and you've started new businesses. You've had incredible success. What's changed in your life if you were to just succinctly share?
I mean, when I first came to you, I didn't even know what to expect because you came in your pinstripe suit, but you were like this powerhouse on stage. And I'm like, I just want to be part of you. And so I signed up without even knowing how incredible it was. And we were in like Joshua Tree Park, like in live, right? So in the desert. And those sessions were so long. I thought it was like, it was amazing. Anyway.
What changed? What changed for you?
So, I mean, God, your work is so profound. And I have to say, I mean, I'm part of your community and I absolutely love it. And every time I get to pop in, I have a lot going on. So I try my best. As soon as my daughter goes to college, I'm going to be so far into this. It's not even funny. I'm not going to miss a thing. But every time I come, it just opens up my eyes. And I feel like people had mentioned, like a lot of it's in alignment with where I'm going and what I need to hear in that very, very present moment. I mean, you have just grown in entrepreneurship. I am just always blown away with all the things that you're teaching us that helps us expand our thinking. And I feel, I feel so much more clear in my purpose. And I just can't wait for more. And I'm coming to Sia and I'm coming to Neo, I think this year, but I haven't booked anything for the live yet. And I'm like, oh, I want to go there too. So I recommend everything that you do. And you can't go wrong with anything from Niurka. So thank you so much.
It's been such a joy to be and to be part of your journey, to be part of your breakthroughs, to be part of your path. I mean, Margarita is an incredible entrepreneur. She has a business where she, I don't know if restore is the right word for your boats and your yachts, where you take care of people's incredible yachts. And then you've launched this new business in biohacking where you're working with some of the top leaders on the frontier in the world in biohacking, and you have amazing things happening. So it's always a joy to be in your presence. Give her some love and light.
I mean, last year when you had oh, thank you so much. Yeah, when you were doing the brand, getting our brand really clear, and at the same time I was starting to clear out my clutter, it really helped me evolve as a person. And now, I mean, I don't even buy anything that goes into my closet that isn't a part of me because of the lessons that I learned from you. It just made so much more sense. Refining things have really made a difference. And like my brands have shifted my business. Now we do restoration and preservation for boats, but we restore once and we preserve for years. So like that messaging just came clear for me because I don't do the things everybody else does. Like I knew that everything that I do it gets more refined the more you know yourself. The more you know your gifts, the easier it is to win. So thank you for helping me.
Such a joy. I love that. The more you know your gifts, the easier it is to win. That's beautiful and that's powerful. And what she's talking about with the brand is the membership. So the cool thing about the membership is what we've laid out for you here today is an entire year. It's a year-long path. It's a powerful path. And I guarantee you, when we look back a year from now, you look back after Neo 2027, looking back towards now, you'll look back at now and smile and go, I'm so grateful I went. Because in February 2027, looking back towards now, it'll be different if you did or if you didn't. So I encourage you to come. Thank you, Margarita. Give Margarita some love. All right, beautiful one. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring our session to completion, and my team and I will stick around specifically for those who have questions about Sia or about Neo. So quick announcements, VIPs, we will see you on Tuesday, same time, for 2 hours of power. If you're not in VIP, the team will drop it. If you'd like to go to Sia and Neo and you have not yet signed up, but you have questions, stick around. We'll be happy to answer them. All right, beautiful ones. I love you all so much. It's been a joy to be in your presence. How was your belief matrix? Okay, the belief matrix. Okay, unmute yourself. Let's hear your beautiful voices from around the world.
It was great.
Thank you, Niurka.